My husband has a son from a past partner, and I might let another man raise him.
Hold up, Sam. How do we know? Do we have the DNA test?
Well, John, luckily it's Mother May I Have a DNA Test Week on the OK Storytime podcast. So let's jump in to what this person has to say. My husband, 32 male, and I, 29 female, have been a pretty typical couple up until now.
I would say so.
Yeah, things are changing. Dual income, no kids, and we're hoping to have one or two within the next few years, but are in no rush and are enjoying this time in our lives. Again, until now. By the way, this comes from LoveChild5346. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So I have a white collar job and he works for a startup. Of course, we had our problems. What couple doesn't? But have always managed to work through them and seem to always come out stronger. But out of the blue, John, something happens.
Here, what happens?
We got our inciting incident. My husband received a Facebook message over the weekend from a woman saying that he is the father of her 5-year-old son.
Okay, why is it every time there's a Facebook message, it's never like, hey, you know, you dropped $100, or like, hey,
or like, I'm a Nigerian prince and I need to give you $2 million.
That would be great
to move funds for the heir of my throne. You know, it's never that.
It's always, oh, here's your secret son. Oh, here's the affair partner that your guy's sleeping with. It's never good news.
I want good news in my Facebook messages.
Please.
And I never get any.
Yeah.
Maybe one day the Nigerian prince will be waiting for me.
All of
roses.
All of our Facebook messages is to just stop yelling into the microphone.
Oh, no.
You know?
Yeah, and we won't. We are going to continue yelling. So although he didn't immediately remember who she was, it's a player, after confirming a few details, he was able to place her as a one-night stand right before we just started dating.
I mean, that's pretty compelling evidence.
Man is prolific.
That's not good.
Man was slanging wang.
That's not good.
Sowing wild oats. I was like, who is she again? Oh, that one. That's Sally. That's Sally number 4. Although it might seem that there could be overlap between her and me, given the kid's birthday, and math. Yikes. I do believe him when he said that he slept with her only once a month before we started dating.
Very regimented. Okay.
The punctuation on that is a little sus. Is it you only slept with her once a month or once a month before we started dating?
I mean, this is sounding like once a month. Dude.
No, it's not. No way.
I guess there isn't. If it's a one-night stand, it just like it's a one-night stand.
It's a one-night stand.
Yeah, it's not a one.
It's
dude,
a one-night
stand
a month.
A once-a-month stand is crazy. That's wild.
Yeah, dude. He's got her on that monthly delivery path.
Yeah.
Like, hey, can we bump it back a little bit? You know, I'm a little busy this week.
I need a 6-week thing. You know, I got this new girl on the block.
I can squeeze it in on the 31st just so we stay, you know.
Well, this isn't an infidelity situation. On the one hand, though, I'm irrationally angry with him. This should not be my problem. And I was not the one who decided to have unprotected, spicy sleep with someone I did not know while wasted.
Amen.
Amen, sister. Well, we bought a house a year ago that in hindsight was probably more of a reach than we should have done. So money is very tight. At this point in time, we live in a completely different province. So logistically speaking, having a relationship with this child will be difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying it wouldn't be worth it. I'm just saying it will be harder than if we were still in the same city. So already OP is like, I want to make this relationship with this kid work for my husband.
Yes.
So I mean that's kind of a nice move on her part.
A W move because again, assuming what we know is true, which is that they basically conceived the baby before the relationship. It's like, okay, you can't like fault him for that, you know. So, but now it's like, okay, my husband.
That was me way long ago. I'm a different person.
That was
now.
a whole 30 days before I met you.
Yeah, when I met you, I was a changed man.
Yeah, let me tell you what a calendar.
I was a father, in fact.
Yeah.
But I took on that fatherly duty. At the same time, I'm likely getting ahead of myself as there's no confirmation that he is even his son.
Yep.
They don't know. Where's the DNA test?
Gotta give it to me.
She has a meeting with her lawyer on September 8th to discuss how to go about getting a paternity test done, which to me implies that since lawyers are getting involved, she will be going after him for that money, that cash moolah, which she is entitled to and is her right if he is his son. Which I love how OP is like, I guess so.
I mean, she's so like, I feel like she's very like level-headed and reasonable, very, very down to earth and just like, this is what it is, you know?
Yeah. Which I feel like if I was getting this Facebook message, I don't know if I would be as reasonable as OP. So props to you, OP,
100%.
For weighing both sides.
I'm actually curious for everyone watching. Comment below if you think that they should only be entitled to like the husband side of the money, because if there's intermingled funds, like, is that really like? I feel like
is that fair?
Yeah, is that fair? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, a different side of me feels robbed, and the protective side of me also feels like my husband has been robbed, albeit in a different way. He didn't know about this child and consequently has missed many of the traditional milestones. He broke down in the middle of our living room, apologizing and saying that he had always imagined that his children would be with me and that this is not the kind of father he wanted to be.
I mean, it does suck. Like he didn't know.
He didn't know.
You kind of, I mean, I guess you can blame him for, doing the
not
deed.
wrapping the willy.
But like, I do still feel for him.
Yeah. I and also I think this reaction, like if I was the wife, I'm like, all right, damn, I got a good one.
That's good.
Yeah. It's like he wants to be a good father. That's what he really, he's like sad.
What do you want to hear as a wife?
Green flag. His first instinct, though, if it comes to it, is to pay child support, but to not have any presence in his life since his future family is with me.
Oh, he's like, babe, I want to be the best father ever, but only to your children.
Only to you, I guess. I mean,
not W.
I feel like a less of a W.
Yeah, less of a W.
But at least you, I guess, know he's committed to you. I don't know. Is that a W or an L?
I don't think, honestly, I don't think it is.
I feel it's less of a W, but I would love to know what y'all think. And given how my post probably sounds, you would think this would make me happy. But that actually just made me even sadder and even more disappointed in my husband. The kid looks exactly like how my husband looked at 5. And I think he should get to know him, even if this impacts my life negatively, since this is not the kid's fault. W wife.
Yep.
I told him to just reflect for a while and to not make any decisions until we know more. But I am hoping that once the shock is worn off, he'll want to have a relationship with him. Also, John, if you're new here, which I know you are, you just came.
I don't know what this is.
There are multiple parts to this story.
Oh,
so make sure to follow us on iHeart or Apple Podcasts. We're gonna get back to the story. But if you're new here, come on. This is a family right here. We go live every weekday. I mean, it's freaking awesome. Come into the fold. Yeah. We'll love you. We'll accept you. We'll give you little cute kisses right before you go to sleep.
Oh, my.
All right. But on Facebook, she was rambling and made it sound like the kid had a hard life and was mistreated by her previous partner who was presenting as the father. So on top of it, this is a sad situation. So OP's like, hey, like, you kind of have a responsibility. Man up. Do something.
Yeah. Like this is your kid.
This is your
you
kid.
Did the deed, and the kid proceeds.
Yeah, I feel like the moral compass of OP is pretty high, which is pretty great. I mean, like you don't throw any woman in this situation and have her act like. I feel like OP is like balanced and like, all right, like be the best man you can be.
As far as like the OK Storytime podcast principles, like OP is kind of like hitting every checkbox so far, I would say.
I don't know if this is even relevant, but the mother of his child is not the most stable person. There's a very loose connection between her and me, although I don't know her personally. I have heard of her throughout the years via mutual friends. My best friend's boyfriend's brother used to be friends with her. That is quite the grapevine.
Something, though.
So this is a pretty distant connection. And I remember the stories showing she's not the most sane person in the world. So it's like kind of having her in the fold, you're inviting drama into your life.
Yeah.
At the same time, it meant nothing. And the stories were amusing as I had nothing to do with her. But now this is the person he, and by extension, I will maybe have to co-parent with.
Mm-hmm.
And although my husband and I make a typical middle-class income, $80K combined, so we're not hurting, but by no means are we wealthy, my parents have a lot of money. Let's go. And so part of me wonders if she will go after me or what her expectations are when it comes to that. So she's like, I see those dollar signs in the parents.
Is that even, is that a thing? Grandparental rights?
Well,
transferred up to get the money?
I don't think it is a thing, but what she, like, you know, if she's like, oh, I can sue them for everything they have.
Yeah.
And I know that their parents are going to help out. Like, I can sue for the 5 years.
Yeah.
Of back pay.
Oh, that's a lot.
5 years of monthly back pay for child support. That's like at least, you know, let's say $1,000 minimum per month.
And you just go and, you know, get rid of the grandparents. OP inherits all the money. Now you go after that. Boom.
Boom. Are you saying get rid of
get rid of them.
Get rid of them.
Like,
you know, get that inheritance.
This Facebook lady's
ASAP.
like, all right, let me go real crazy on these grandparents. You know, they're gone.
Sayonara,
they're out of the picture.
Sleep with the fishes.
All of her family's inheritance goes to OP. Now she can sue her for millions.
Yeah, millions. But I'm definitely getting ahead of myself. The only people we have told so far are my parents. He has a better relationship with my parents than with his, and they told us not to make decisions at the moment until we know what is going on, that the child may not even be his.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we have not done the paternity test, so we're getting ahead of ourselves. And that it is suspect that she is only getting in touch with us now. They advised us to reduce both of our online footprints, especially his, delete LinkedIn, make Instagram and Facebook completely private, etc., limit contact with her, and wait until her lawyer formally contacts him for a paternity test and child support and go from there. I, generally speaking, tend to believe things at face value and can be naive sometimes, so it was hard for me to hear that she could be contacting us for selfish reasons. She kept saying she wanted to do right by her son and for him to know his father. The point was not to give her and her lawyer any more ammunition. I feel their reality, their wealth, has forced them to be more cautious and calculated, as this type of thing has happened in their circle and has turned out to be a money grab. But I guess they are right. So it seems like the parents, because they're wealthy, have had people sue them or go after them for like various things. Or like, hey, don't believe everyone who comes at you with a lawsuit and a paternity test.
Dude, that order. When you have multiple people coming after, that's crazy.
I mean, dude, I feel like it happens.
It does happen.
You know, I do think that, I guess, like the sage wisdom of the parents might help in this situation. You know?
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah. Since we spoke to my parents, he has not responded to any of her Facebook messages. I guess to not give her extra ammo in the lawsuit or whatever.
Right.
The most recent one she has sent was whether or not he wanted to get to know his son. I guess I don't really have a question, but more needed to rant since I cannot really talk to my friends about this. I'm not sure what my next step should be, how I even should feel about the situation, and I need tips on how to temper the selfish side of me. I need to be there for him, but I'm having a hard time even looking at him in the eyes. And although my vows do mean something and I would not actually do this, part of me just wants to leave, as this was not what I signed up for. And our reality, no matter what happens next, will be very different going forward. I mean, yeah. Super different. Different. I mean, like, there's no escaping it. I do love, again, that OP is like feeling this duty to the relationship. She's not just trying to abandon ship, and recognizing these emotions that might not be like completely rational or completely what she actually wants to do deep down if she's following her moral compass. Like these emotions exist.
She's not letting the emotions take her to a place of making a potentially rash decision, but she's like, hey, I am feeling these things. I'm acknowledging these things and trying to sift through and figure out what is the best thing to do here.
Yeah,
because it's a crazy situation.
It's a crazy situation, and I think it's about to get crazier.
Man, it's been getting crazy already, but we don't know if this secret son is actually the secret son.
Yeah, and just for TLDR for everyone who's just coming into this one, again, listen to the first part if you haven't already. But basically, Opie's husband got a message from a woman claiming that her 5-year-old is his son. And Opie's been pretty balanced about this whole thing. She wants him to have a relationship with the son. The guy's like, I don't know if I really want to. And now OP's like, hey, you have a responsibility. She's kind of pushing him to have a relationship. But let's see what happens. We're going into the edit. So
let's go.
I want to thank everyone who's taking the opportunity to respond. And I'm absolutely overwhelmed by everyone's support. I'm definitely less emotional this morning. And that is largely due to the community. So thank you. A few points. I've told this story in the comments, but basically, at the time the one night stand happened, she had just broken up with her boyfriend and then got back together with him not long after. So OP's husband was like the meat in the middle, as it were.
She's like, oh, I don't got my boyfriend anymore. Let's go back to the OG daddy-o.
Yep. And then bada bing, bada boom. She ping-ponged.
Yep.
She ping-ponged.
Ping-ponging.
The ex-boyfriend claimed paternity, but they are no longer together. So I think that ex-boyfriend thinks that he is the dad. She has told us that he is aware that my husband is likely the father. Okay. But I'm not sure if he accepted this at face value or if a paternity test has been done or what his current relationship to her son is. For the moment, we are limiting contact with her, so I'm not in a position to ask these questions. It's been pointed out to me that I have contradictory statements in my posts versus in the comments. That is absolutely true, as I felt and am still feeling very conflicted about the situation. From a moral standpoint, I would hope that my husband does more than the bare minimum, as I feel that this is in the best interest of the child, and I will get over myself and any doubt that I currently have. But personally, if the roles were reversed, I would have a hard time making payments and not playing an active role. I would want to either be involved or not at all, but that's just me. At the same time, I wish that this had never happened, that we could have continued on living in oblivion, and that I wouldn't have to contribute time and financial resources to a situation that I did not cause. So yes, I feel conflicted. And hey,
so fair.
So ridiculously fair.
Yeah.
This is a difficult situation. If you weren't conflicted, I would be like, are you human?
Yeah.
Are you a real person?
Exactly. And I think OP is like trying to figure, and you know what's another thing to shout out OP for?
Yeah.
Is she hasn't like kind of pushed that agenda, quote unquote, on the husband yet. She's like, hey, this is what I would like to see from it. This is like what I would like to see from a partner that I hopefully will spend the rest of my life with. But I haven't like yet just like, she didn't immediately drop the hammer and be like, what are you doing? Why aren't you doing this? You know, kind of like letting and seeing where the dust falls and how the husband after, because she's like, let me settle down. Let the dust
let
settle.
me give you the space to make your own decision.
Exactly.
Yeah. She goes on to say, if the kid is in a harmful environment, all bets are off and we'll go for custody, provided my husband is the father. And edit 2. Took away stuff about not wanting to double up on support. If someone has already claimed paternity and is paying support, as this is not really relevant. Again, if you're new here, make sure to follow us on the iHeart app or Apple Podcasts. Let's get back to the story. But I guess it seems like what they're saying here is, I don't know if we're going to double up if someone has already claimed support, like double up paying child support,
right,
like her paying and him paying.
If the boyfriend,
maybe him paying and doubling up on top of what this other guy is already paying.
I think that's what I understand it as, is like, if the boyfriend has been like paying maybe even more than child support, just like fully like, you know, funding at least his share of everything, they're like, hey, the kid already has, you know, 2 incomes coming in. We don't necessarily need to be obligated to add to it. Yeah, I think which makes sense. It's like, hey, like just play like an active role in the kid's life, I guess, versus just like kind of dumping money on them.
Yeah. Also with the paternity thing, you can do a court ordered paternity test, right?
Yeah.
So like, but how do they even make you do that?
As the wise Drake once said, paternity testing for women that I've never slept with, I'm legally obligated if they request it. So if there is a formal request,
really,
I believe you are legally obligated.
So someone random that listens to us could be like, I formally request that I've never met.
You're legally obligated if she requests it.
So edit 3. It's more apparent in the comments than in my post, but I have been trying to hide how I really feel and have been trying to be supportive while dealing with my own stuff myself. He doesn't know a lot of how I am feeling, disappointment that he doesn't seem to want to step up at the moment. This is the feelings that she's talking about. He doesn't know. Fear of taking on a child when we are currently childless, and fear of dealing with the baby mama. Those are real fears. And I feel that if I share that at this time without truly understanding my own feelings, I will just be making things worse. He needs my support, not my judgment. Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh.
Look at that.
OP is great. OP's a real one.
Yeah.
Damn, what a bar.
Yeah.
What a bar.
He's my support, not my judgment.
Sheesh. That's a line. That should be a line in some song. I've reached out to a couples counselor this morning so that this can be unpacked in a constructive way.
Boom.
Oh, green flag after green flag. And he'll hopefully feel he can share things that he is likely hiding from me as well. He's also the type of guy to have an initial reaction, but then to dwell and think things through and come to a different conclusion. So his stance can and will likely change a bit. I don't have the greatest poker face, so you probably will tell a bit how I'm feeling, but we're pretty good at discussing things like adults. And he knows that if I'm not sharing, it's because I'm trying to figure things out. Healthy relationship.
That's amazing.
And John, we have an update. We have an update coming.
Dude.
But before we hop into that update, any conspiracy theories about what you think is going to happen? Any predictions? How are we feeling about their communication style? How are you feeling about everything right now?
Opie's handling everything very well. Again, exuding all of the OK Storytime podcast principles here, like communicating early and often, understanding the communication styles, giving him space, but trying to be supportive. I honestly think, as far as a conspiracy theory, remember the line that said he looks exactly like the husband did at 5 years old? If you look exactly the same, especially like comparing the childhood pictures, not even just like, how he looks now, like, he has like similar eyes or something like that. I think this is, and the one night stand, I think this is a child.
Yeah, it does feel likely.
Yeah, we don't have the proof yet.
We don't have the proof, but it does feel likely.
Yeah.
It almost like feels better to get it out of the way, do it sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to settle in one direction or the other and then be blindsided when it's the opposite judgment. It's like, that's not my kid, and then it is, or that is my kid, and then it's not. You don't want to build up like an emotional attachment to one or another outcome.
Yeah, rip the Band-Aid. Although, like, that's a tough. It's like, okay, you just need to bite the bullet and just like go for it.
Easy advice to give, hard advice
to take. Yeah.
But we got an update. So my thoughts were all over the place, and I was very conflicted. I'm not super proud of my reaction, but I was trying to be as open and honest about my thoughts as possible. And now that things have settled in my head, we have more information. And my perspective has changed. My husband was aware that I made the post because I needed to talk to someone, and he felt that Reddit would be a good outlet. Since he is a more private person than I am, he had asked that I not talk too much about how he was feeling unless it was relevant to my own feelings, which is why it was focused on me. Also, because of the shock, I may not have portrayed him in the best light. He's very kind, he's empathetic, he's supportive, and has always had my back for everything, even before we were together. He is my person, and this situation has not changed that.
So what has changed?
All right, I think we're about to find out.
God.
When I said that leaving him had crossed my mind, it was the truth. But after talking to a therapist, I realized that this stemmed from the fact that I am terrified of being a parent and wasn't even sure if deep down I really wanted kids at all. I have diagnosed infertility issues and deep down never truly thought I would be able to have children. There are options that we can pursue when ready, but there's no guarantee, so it was easier to just not really think about it. At the end of the day, when I imagined having the conversation regarding divorce and how it would play out, and even in my imagination, I couldn't say the words to him, never mind in real life. So that clarified that this was just fear talking.
Yeah, and I mean, like, there's a good point out too of, hey, I don't know if I'm ready to be a mom, and does this mean I'm gonna what's gonna happen? Do I, and there'll never be a perfect situation, but yeah, it would be kind of implied that she would kind of be in the mix somehow, right?
But she doesn't have to be like
she doesn't have to
insanely involved.
There's a way
whatever.
I think that they can make it pretty clean considering the situation.
Yeah, but again, I just want to focus on how healthy OP is processing all of this news, going to a therapist, a couples counselor, really sitting with her feelings without reacting. It's just like a master class in how to deal with crazy information.
Dude,
this is one of the crazy situations that can happen to you.
Yep.
And OP is really dealing with it with a lot of grace and poise.
Yeah.
The title is a bit misleading regarding the math, though. The kid is 5.5, and my husband and I have been together for a little over 6 years, married for a bit over 3. 5.5.
Which could work because of 9 months of pregnancy, and some people like myself, getting up to 10, 11, 12, 13 months.
Well, it's just seeming like there's overlap.
It's even on the super close.
It's close.
Right on the line.
Maybe they weren't official, for the first thing, and then he cut it off once it was official.
That's true.
My husband and I were actually very good friends for a few years before we began seeing each other, and were dating about 3 months before we had the exclusivity talk. He slept with the mother during the initial stages of our relationship, and I was fully aware at the time that they had met online and had gone out once. Ironically enough, he told her he didn't want to pursue things with her because he realized he had deep feelings for me, and his guilt about sleeping with her prompted the exclusivity talk. Okay.
Wow.
The timeline kind of lines up.
Yeah, and it was like communicated at the time.
Dude.
Yeah.
Communicating early and often.
Dude,
gosh,
great.
dang.
Super early.
Wow. That's
so
beautiful.
Preconception early.
Preconception. A lot of people, including my parents, have a bit of an issue with the timing, but he did not cheat on me, and that is in bold, ladies and gentlemen. He did not cheat, and it doesn't seem like he did. When we started seeing each other, we had said that we would always be friends first and would always be open and honest with each other, even if it's difficult. And I have no reason to believe that he slept with her since that time. But, John,
Sam,
we got the next part of the story, so let's dive in.
Oh, God.
After a lot of soul searching on David's part, this is hubby's part, he came to the conclusion that as much as it would be easier to bury his head in the sand and pretend that this never happened, Alex is his son. Again, have we done the paternity test? I don't know if we know.
We're not sure.
And at the very minimum, he needs to make sure he is safe and he is happy. If he does nothing, he will think about this every single day for the rest of his life. And if we do decide to have kids, they will be an even bigger reminder of his other son. At one point, it came out that he had said that he didn't want to be involved initially, and it was because that this is what he thought I wanted to hear. And that if he had to pick between his son and his marriage, he was choosing his marriage.
And hence the communication.
Hence the communication.
Because her reaction to that, she wanted the opposite. She's like,
no, but stand up, be a man.
Yeah, like I want to see you be an active father. Like that's what I want from you. And he was like, I was only saying that because I thought that's what he wanted. Communication. We all wanted the same thing at the end.
That's beautiful.
This could have burned down.
Yeah.
If the strong communication was not that.
Yeah. But that he didn't really know if he could move forward if it actually came to that. From my side of things, what I wanted was for him to make his decision independent of what I thought and wanted, because ultimately, if something happened to me, he would still have to deal with the consequences of partaking in his son's life. And he can't undertake something of that magnitude just for me. The truth of the matter is, though, that I know my husband very well, at the end of the day, he wouldn't have been able to live with himself if he ignored the situation. When it came down to it, the reason I was having such an issue with things is because I am not a kid person. OP said earlier, he's not even sure he wanted kids.
Not sure.
It was discussed, like, oh, maybe we have 2 kids or blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But when it came to it and she saw there was a kid that OP's husband could be involved with, she's like, wait, I don't know if I want that.
That makes it real. And she it was essentially infertile.
Yeah.
That, like you said earlier. So it's like, I could totally see how you're totally not mentally prepared.
Blindsided.
Like, I couldn't even have kids if I wanted to, potentially.
Yeah. So she goes on to say, kids scare the crap out of me, and I have a hard time relating to them. I love kids. I think they're super cute, and watching them just get something is amazing. And they bring a lot of joy to your life. It is so insanely cool seeing them become their own person. But kids don't like me very much. Likely because I become super nervous about them. Likely because I become super nervous around them. Also, the amount of pressure and responsibility when responsible for another human being, making sure that they grow up happy and become productive members of society. Heck, even making sure they stay alive, it's overwhelming.
That is true.
I don't know how parents get up in the morning. But at the end of the day, as I said before, David is my person. And we'll get through this together. If it comes to that, more below, being parent to a 5-year-old will be a learning curve for both of us, but I will be the best step parent that I can be, and he will feel nothing but love from both of us. If we have other kids in the future, Alex will be treated the exact same way. That was the emotional stuff. Now on to the practical. We had a home DNA test. All right, drum roll, roll. And it was confirmed that my husband is the father.
Oh, man.
He is daddy.
Dude, I mean, not surprised.
Yeah, we're not surprised. He looks exactly like him.
But now it's 110%.
Now it's real. Not that there was any doubt in my mind. The situation is even more messed up than I thought, though. Jessica, the mother, and David spoke on the phone, and she told him a few things that were concerning. 1, Alex, the son, is currently living with his father, Sam. I guess a stepfather would be more appropriate, but keep reading. From what we can guess, He's been living there since 2013, and this raised a bunch of red flags. So I think the father took custody because Jessica is so unstable.
Oh.
The father's name is Sam. My name is Sam.
No relation. No correlation.
No relation. I promise this is not about me. Children's Aid wouldn't place a child with someone they believe is abusive, and even more telling, they tend to favor the mother. So this is weird. So basically, they gave it with the dad, and so the mother has to be doing something really effed up if they're putting it full custody with the dad.
Full custody with the dad, yeah.
Because of a complaint that Jessica lodged in 2013, Sam was charged for hurting Alex, but he was acquitted. She says in 2013, she voluntarily placed Sam in foster care because she kept passing out and thought it was dangerous as it would mean Alex was alone. Yeah, I don't know how this works, but I have a hard time believing that there are no resources available for this situation. Children's Aid is on Sam's side, and in the files, she is not portrayed in a good light at all. She did not realize that David had moved 8 hours away. She assumed we were still in the same city. She has another court case soon regarding custody. Sam knows that Alex is not his son. So Sam is the guy that was with Jessica, the mother, and then kind of took on a paternal role for this kid that's not actually his kid.
Yeah, and we at first it was unclear if Sam even knew.
Yeah,
or if Jessica lied, but he knows.
But is in denial and thinks that the DNA test is wrong since it is a home test. He wants to keep full custody of his son, and he's been raising the kid for 5 years.
Yeah,
he's dad.
He's like, listen,
and the kid knows him as dad.
Yeah, if you're raising a kid for 5.5 years, that's kind of traumatic. If the kid is just pulled away and placed with someone else,
Yeah, exactly. He wants to keep full custody of his son. Jessica wants to have full custody of her son and is hoping that by throwing bio dad into the mix, the courts will take Alex away from Sam and award him to her.
So now we get the truth. See
now we get the play.
Yeah, this is where because at first it's like, what are her motives? Is it money? Is it like whatever? So she's kind of using OP and her husband as pawns to try and get the full custody.
And
back.
Again, if the son was taken away, if Alex was taken away from Jessica, then Jessica was probably doing something pretty bad for the court to favor full custody to the father.
And also pretty honestly kind of crazy and just a long shot of a plan to be like, oh, hey, let me hit up this guy I had a one-night stand with 5.5 years ago and see if I can like use him and finagle it to like, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I think she's closer to getting her way than she was initially.
That, you know what? I guess probably.
I mean, also, I think at this point, if I'm OP and OP's husband, I'm like, what is the best outcome for this kid? Yeah. And I'm like, I feel like the kid staying with the dad, the dad that's been raising him is is probably the best move.
Have the kids stay with Sam,
and then maybe you get visitation and help
child support. Exactly. I think that's the best. Where it's like, hey, let me help ease the financial burden. Let me, hey, you need a babysitter, something like that. Like figure out some sort of visitation and interaction.
It could be like a 2.5 men situation. You got your two dads, and they love each other very much and love you very much.
There you go.
Yeah. And that we can have visitation, or probably more accurately, pay support and stay away. Yeah, it's a crap show, and I feel like I'm living in a soap opera. David asks that the Children's Aid and the court papers be sent to him so he could formulate a plan. Based on what we know, which admittedly isn't much, it seems as though Sam is a good father.
Okay.
There are tons of Facebook posts of Alex building a snow fort, Alex swimming in lakes with his dad, Alex dressing up as Batman, just normal stuff you expect to see from a proud father. Jessica, not so much. Honestly, she looks high in most photos based on the reason as to why she gave him up temporarily, the photos, and the fact that he isn't living with her. I'm assuming she is a regular substance user, but I'm just guessing. David ultimately wants what is best for Alex, and if it means having him with us full time, so be it. But right now, it seems horrible, this is kind of what we said, to pull a 5-year-old from the only home he really knows because of DNA. So we are waiting for the files, and we'll be talking to the caseworker to see if our impression is right. We don't trust Jessica at all.
Yeah.
As you shouldn't. So she is not an option. If it turns out that there are issues with Sam, we will fight for custody. If Alex is happy, well-adjusted, and Sam is a good dad, like we believe, after due diligence and a conversation with Sam to see how he feels, and if he is okay with everything, David will be signing away his rights and give Sam his medical and contact information in case it is needed. He also had the idea to write a letter to Alex explaining his actions, that he found out about him at 5, but it seemed like he had a good home and a great dad, and felt like what he is doing was in his best interest, but that he loves him and is there for him, and he can reach out if and when he is ready, that Sam can give to Alex when he is older if he wants to. I think that's really, really, I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, this is the way. This is the way.
This is the way.
Yeah.
I mean, a hard situation.
Yeah.
Really, really hard. But I feel like, again, at every moment here, it feels like they've been doing what's best for each other and best for the kid.
Yeah. But dude, the just imagine the gut wrenching jolts of going from like, okay,
whiplash.
do we want to have this kid and like raise it? Like, oh, not sure. Is this going to blow up our lives? So like, all right, they kind of like mentally like, all right, we're prepared if this is the case
to take the kid in.
And then it's like, no, like you might not get any access to the kid. Yeah, what a roller coaster.
Roller coaster. Of course, it will ultimately be Sam's decision as to whether or not he wants to tell Alex about his bio dad. I'm not sure if this is the right thing, but it seems horrible to make a 5-year-old go live with complete strangers 8 hours away from mom and dad if it can be helped. So Sam is the one that has been playing with him and taking care of him when he is sick. Sam is his dad.
Mm-hmm.
We have a big battle ahead of ourselves, though. I don't really have any questions, but if anyone has any advice on navigating this, opinions, etc., well, this is the internet, so have at it. And we got some edits. But and some updates from OP. But John, any more thoughts on it before we get into the edits and the update?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's definitely the move to keep it with Sam, the dad that's been raising this child the whole time. I think honestly, what could be good, and they kind of essentially said this, but is to sit down with Sam and be like, how can we be helpful? Like, what is useful?
Yeah, like can they provide paternity support or can they provide child support just to like help improve the kid's life a bit?
Yeah,
you know,
money. I mean, how is more money? I mean, they say more money, more problems, but like, I feel like them obviously contributing financially would be helpful, and then I'm sure there's probably ways. And if they come to Sam too with that, like, hey, what do you need help with? I'm sure that's going to foster like a really good relationship between them, and then that will, probably give them more access to dad.
Yeah, maybe it's like saving for a college fund or something like that.
Yeah,
exactly. Like whatever it may be. Yeah. But we got an edit and some updates. So we were exploring the possibility of setting up a trust. Okay,
dude.
Which we will contribute to for when he turns 21 or so, regardless of how this plays out. I should have mentioned it in the letter. We got some relevant comments with some responses from OP. So on my inbox, Troy says, well, given that we have heard about Jessica, I don't know that Sam's so weird for distrusting the at-home paternity test. It's easy enough to get fake negative results if you swap the swab for someone else's.
Yeah.
That's why the court will only accept official tests. If she is just trying to get Sam to back off so she can regain custody, it would be in her interest to fake a negative result, hoping that just the knowledge he is not the bio father will get him to abandon the child. And OP responds, crap. I had never thought of that. As things progress, we will need to do the legal one, but still, I wouldn't put it past her. There's no doubt in my mind that hubby is the biological father. Dates match up perfectly, and he's pretty much my hubby's clone and looks nothing like Sam. But from his perspective, I can see why he would think that. And Zombies and Pandas, oh my, says, I mean, how did the home test happen? Did she have any chance to mess with it? And OP responds, I don't know how she would have, to be honest. When I said home test, I really should have said this is not a DNA test that we can legally submit to court. We were both sent kits via mail at our homes, and we both sent cheek swabs to a lab. I'm not sure how it could have been faked unless David has another bio kid running around somewhere, and Jessica sent this kid's swab instead of Alex's. But I'm more sympathetic as to why Sam is saying that it's not accurate. As another post mentioned, it's likely that deep down he's known for a bit, but does not care since he's raised him from birth. And so we actually have another commenter in response from OP.
Oh.
That I think will shed more light on what's going on here. And a commenter talks about being a father. It's just not about DNA. It's actually like about, the relationship you have with the kid.
Yep.
And OP responds, it's denial. And I get it. He's gone this long thinking Alex is his son. My only fear is that if it is ever legally confirmed, I would hope it wouldn't change his feelings. But one step at a time, right? I know people get acquitted of things that they are guilty of. I just don't know what the right thing to do here is. We are trying to corroborate the story with the paperwork, the casework, and other people who know him. And at a certain point, if Children's Aid is still involved, but believe the assault complaint is unfounded and the courts believe he was not guilty, you want to believe that they are right. On the other hand, although the mother is unreliable, that doesn't mean she is lying.
Right.
I think the letter is just to make my husband feel better because it ultimately is Sam's choice as to whether he wants to say something to Alex later on. And if he decides not to, it's his prerogative. David's fear is that Alex will find out later on and will think that he didn't want anything to do with him, when the reality is that he just doesn't want to make things harder for him. I mean, if Sam is cool with David having a relationship with Alex at this point, David would love that. But since his denial goes very deep, he just can't see Sam being okay with that at this point. Things change, though, and who knows how this will play out. We got one more comment from someone, Lizzie6692, that says, just so you know, that even a legal DNA test may not have any sort of impact on custody. In many states, particularly ones where there is a presumption of paternity associated with marriage, if you act as the father for a certain amount of time, usually well under 5 years, I believe, then you are legally the father. Your husband may not have any sort of claim to Alex at all at that point.
Which, but like if you think about it, right? It's like what we've been saying this whole time. This kid has been raised by this guy for over 5 years. So it's like way more destructive to like rip him out.
Exactly.
Versus like, oh, hey, here's this stranger that like, and the kid can't even understand.
No.
You know?
I think it's best for the kid, Alex, to stay with the current father, Sam.
Yeah.
But that's where that story ends.
Yeah.
We got to know more.
The kid, this was 9 years ago. So the kid's probably like 14, 15.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Wow.
Dude, that's so true. I wonder how it all shook out.
Hope he's okay.
Yeah.
Hope he's okay. But I hope you like this story. There's more stories like it. Just go through and binge our podcast catalog. We have 2,000 plus episodes. How many hours of content, John?
53 continuous days.
53 continuous days of episodes. So go check it out. Have fun.
My husband's mother insulted me, so I made him choose between us.
Choose your mother or me.
It looks like we're going to have two different posts perspectives here, because the first part says wife's post. February 23rd, 2025, I, 31 female, and my fiance, 36 male, are set to get married in July of this year. We met through a mutual friend earlier last year, and our relationship progressed quickly. He's literally the perfect guy, but the problem is his mother, Katie. Katie. By the way, this comes from user Life Championship 540, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. Katie has been critical of me since day one. She often tells my husband that he could do better and that I'm just an educated slummer. I could usually disregard her, but when she proposed, she went to a whole new level. The main incident occurred when we went to visit her a few days ago to announce our engagement. My future husband excitedly showed her the ring, but she just grimaced. She looked at him and, I repeat, said, "Are you really going to marry that R-word gold digger?"
Jeez, his mom's evil. His mom's evil.
Maybe tackle your mom. My husband laughed nervously, and we left quickly after. A little context, I have high-functioning autism. It doesn't affect me too much on a daily basis, but I have trouble interpreting emotion. After we got home, I sobbed and asked my husband to tell his mom this needs to stop. He didn't say much, just that he loves me and he will get better, but he can't say anything to his mom.
Why can't he say anything to his mom? Is he a little baby?
Sounds like it. When I pushed for answers, he said he can't do anything about it and left. His sister sent me a text later telling me I can't make him choose between me and his mother. I'm so confused because I literally didn't even ask him to do that.
Is this man Congress? Because his hands are tied?
Because he's useless. Is there something I'm missing? Am I the a-hole has no consensus? OP was not the a-hole. Yeah, OP is not the a-hole there. As someone else who was diagnosed, you very clearly are missing a nonverbal cue from your fiance, and it probably means that he doesn't care about his mom acting like that to you. Commenter 2, not the a-hole. You aren't making him choose. His mommy is. Commenter 3, run! Don't entertain the idea of marrying this butthead.
Agreed.
He doesn't deserve you. If my mom ever said anything of this sort to my spouse, she'd never see me or hear from me again. Major red flags. He isn't appalled and confronting it on sight. I'm just saying, girl, you don't want to deal with that the rest of your life, and you definitely don't want to deal with that during a divorce. Asking to be treated with respect by your future husband's family is honestly the bare minimum and goes without saying. He and his family don't seem to have the capacity to do that, and that's embarrassing for them. You deserve so much better than that. Please, please, please do not waste your time thinking it will change or get better. It won't. They are showing you who they are. Believe them, you will be better off. And we have an update from 2 days after. Sophia, what would you do? What would you do?
I would not. I don't think that you necessarily have to break up with this person immediately. But I do think that no marriage should be, started if this man can't stand up for you or stand up to his mom.
Yeah, if he's
'Cause
currently
right now
married to his
he's a
mom.
child.
He's married to his mom right now.
Yeah. Well, I think just
Okay.
right now he's still acting like his mom is a dependent to his mom, basically.
Yeah, he's like,
Like he's like, oh, well, I can't. I can't
talk back. She's
not
gonna
my
take
mom, she's
away
my mom.
she's gonna take away my
She's gonna
video
ground me.
games. Okay, update. My fiance came home the next morning 2 days ago and started acting like everything was normal. He didn't even mention the fight that we had. Finally, that night, I sat him down and asked him why he was acting like things were normal. He responded that it was just a minor fight and we shouldn't dwell on it. This made me mad because it was a big deal for me. Fight made me question our relationship. I told him this and he scoffed. In that moment, I looked at him and I asked him, is it really not a big deal that your mother called me the R slur and a gold digger? He just scoffed again and said something about her getting older and not knowing what that meant.
Oh, you dummy. So dumb. You're so dumb.
Just gonna keep going. I was done. His mother is 63 years old and acts the same way she did when I met her years ago. I packed a bag, called my friend to pick me up, and left. I've been staying at her place since then. Not sure where my life is headed now. It's headed to not dating this guy who is like, I don't know, in love with his mom more than you. Top comments. Number 1, your life is headed to freedom and happiness. Your boyfriend can remain tied to mommy forever. Maybe she can even learn to do that thing he really likes.
Okay, well, we didn't have to say
Okay.
that.
Commenter 2. He knows that it wasn't a minor fight. He just knows that you're in the right about it and doesn't want to address it. Number 3, seems to me your life is moving in a better direction away from your mama's boy who clearly doesn't respect you and will never stand up to you. Comment number 4. Good for you for standing up for yourself. I'm proud of you. It feels dark and difficult right now, and it's okay to grieve the loss of the relationship and the person you think he was. Eventually, you'll find yourself feeling much lighter without that weight dragging you down. I mean the way his mom and then he made you feel. And you'll find your happiness again. Date number 2, 2 days later once again.
Ooh.
Let's get into it.
Let's dive in.
Am I the a-hole for choosing my mom over my fiance?
Whoa. Whoa.
It's the husband's
Beep, beep, beep.
perspective.
Alert, alert.
Oh.
It's husband's perspective.
Oh!
We're about to find out if the first perspective was just wildly off base.
I doubt it.
And I doubt it.
I think
doubt
mommy
it.
boy,
I think
mommy boy.
Still a mommy boy.
Hey Reddit! Yesterday, my friend sent me a post on this subreddit that was made by my fiance. She totally makes me look like a villain, so I just have to say my side. We've been dating for a while now, and it's been great aside from the past few days. My mother, 63 female, is a single mother that raised me and my sister alone. She's always been the most supportive mother ever, and I love her to the end of the world. She is getting on in her years now. 63 is not that old, buddy. She is getting on in her years now and is not the same person she was. She has always been a little overprotective of me, and so she has never fully accepted my fiance. I didn't think it was that big of a deal since she doesn't say anything directly to my fiance. Last weekend, when we were announcing our engagement at her house, my mom wasn't too thrilled, and I admit she made a rude remark regarding my fiance's autism. We left quickly after, and I comforted my fiance for over an hour.
She's like,
Only over an hour? Dude.
I comforted her for like over an hour.
Doing
oh
the
my
most.
God.
This
what
guy's
else
doing
am I
the
supposed to do?
most.
I made up for it.
Does she want 2 hours? Jesus, I have a life.
I ordered her takeout, made a bath for her, and put on a movie. I explained to her that my mom is getting older and doesn't have full control of what she says.
63.
My fiance kept pushing, and I eventually snapped and told her I can't do anything about it. I'm not sure my fiance understands because she doesn't have a close bond with her mom. I stayed at my mom's house and went back in the morning. Long argument short, my fiance started blowing the comments my mother made way out of proportion, not even bothering to mention her age. Like I said, my mom is old now. She doesn't understand this fully.
She's like ancient.
She left, and I haven't seen her since. Her friend contacted me and said I'm the a-hole for choosing my mom over her. I'm not choosing my mom over her, though, and we're still getting married, so am I the a-hole? Oh, buddy, do I have some news for you.
You're not still getting married, buddy.
All right,
You're
so
not
we
getting married.
gave him his trial. Boy, oh boy,
Wow,
the jury. Jury, what do we think?
Guilty.
That says OP was heavily voted you're the a-hole.
I didn't even need to see that. I just want to see the comments.
Okay, let's go. Commenter 1.
God.
You are the effing a-hole. Your mom called your autistic fiance an R-slur gold digger. How is that not a big deal? There is no good effing excuse for your mom to call her that, and I'm not buying the whole age excuse because my mom is 5 years younger than yours, and she's very much alert and aware of what is and isn't okay to say to other people. Unless your mom has early onset dementia, she knows exactly what the F she's doing. You're an effing mommy's boy who can't stand up for your fiance's dignity. Effing pathetic. Shame upon you.
Shame.
Shame.
Ding-a-ling-ling-ling. Shame. Number 2. Age is not an excuse to be a crappy person. After 63 years, your mother doesn't have the self-control to keep rude comments to herself. You absolutely could have done something. You chose not to defend your fiance because you're too busy hanging on mommy's teat. You're the a-hole and your fiance dodged an effing nuke. Number 3, perhaps you should have remained quiet and let us think you're a butt instead of posting and removing all doubt.
Yeah, truly.
Commenter 4, the whole point of getting married is to create a new immediate family. That means your wife and future kids are your number 1 priority, and cousins, uncles, and parents are a second or third priority. I speak from experience where my aging mother is also a filterless, discriminatory a-hole who spoke down on my Filipino wife. Guess what I did? I chewed her out and gave her one opportunity to make it right.
You only got one shot.
Do not miss your chance to blow. My mom can't control her tongue, so I've since gone no contact. It's been 9 years since I last spoke to her, and my wife and I just celebrated our 11th anniversary. You're the a-hole and will always be the a-hole until you put your wife first. Always. Now go beg for forgiveness with your fiance, chew your mom out, and tell her she's got one chance to apologize or she loses her son. Otherwise, you don't deserve your fiance. And we've got another update from the wife.
Yes.
Definitely little crybaby mama boy is not going to have the guts to update his post.
If this doesn't start off with, so I'm not getting married anymore, then I
Hopefully.
don't want it.
I'm crossing my fingers. Wife's post, February 27th, 2025. Final update. As some of you may have seen, my fiance posted an Am I the A-hole post earlier today. I haven't seen him since our last fight. He was pretty much getting destroyed in the comments, so that made me feel a little better. Here's a link to the post. So after this post, he calls me, and like an idiot, I picked up. And let me tell you, this man did not sound stable. First, he was crying, begging for me back. Then he was screaming at me to get the F back here. It was heartbreaking to hear the man I thought I was going to marry sound so psycho. I recorded the call just in case I needed evidence, and then I hung up and blocked him everywhere. And by the way, you can listen to full episodes with stories like this practically everywhere, like iHeartRadio and Spotify and Apple Podcasts and any other podcast platform that you can listen to with your ears. Just search OK Storytime, and you will find days 51.
51 days.
51 days and counting
51
worth
days
of
and
stories.
counting.
And that's not 8-hour days, that's 24-hour days. That
Long
is
days.
a lot. We have a little bit of story left. Do we have anything else here?
No, you dodged a really big.
Yes, you dodged a nuclear bomb-shaped bullet.
You dodged an asteroid.
We do that all the time. I mean, like as a planet, we dodge.
You were the Earth dodging an asteroid.
You're a natural.
A city killing asteroid.
About an hour later, he shows up to my friend's house acting crazy and saying some things I can't repeat here. I called the police, and after, they took him away. I left to stay at a hotel. My friend has been really supportive, but I can't put her in danger. I hope this is the final update, but if anything else happens, is there a different sub I can post in? I feel like I'm deviating from Am I the A-hole? Sorry if this isn't edited properly. I just can't with life today. And again, thanks for all the support. It truly means more than I could ever say. And we have some more comments to finish it off. Number 1, sounds like you dodged the crazy bullet. Number 2, just read your ex-fiance's post. What a spineless mama's boy. Good for you for finally seeing you deserve so much better than settling for him and his mommy. Number 3, can his mommy put him in timeout? Number 4, oh no, the consequences of my actions. That's a quote from him. And that is the end of that story.
Wow.
And I feel the need to readdress that when I made that joke, when I said, what is she, the R slur? I was speaking in character as the husband.
I got that.
I want no backlash from that whatsoever.
Too late.
None.
Canceled.
I want zero backlash from that.
You're just too in character, man.
I'm committed to the bit. Literally on my Hinge profile, I said my love language is committing to the bit, okay?
How is that going?
Not well.
Aw.
My husband keeps interfering in issues that aren't his, so I told him off. Get out of here! Get out of here. Can't you see these are all my issues? Get out of here! Why are you bothering me with my issues? These are mine. I, 27 female, and my husband, 27 male, just had an argument? If you could call it that. So, my brother just got a job, and it's great, except he just got thrown into single fatherhood immediately after. He has a daughter, my niece, who is about 6 months old and has no one to babysit her while he works, as the mother suddenly isn't in the picture. He called me asking if I could watch the baby during the week while he works, only for a few weeks, since he knows I'm a stay-at-home mom myself. By the way, this comes from user Star Hates You. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, I would have said yes, but I can't. I am pregnant and have 2 young kids of my own, one of which does school from home, and I have to do it with her, which we are still getting the hang of because we just moved. By the time I'd prepare for that, he wouldn't need the help anymore. He understood and asked if I knew anyone personally who could help because he was out of people to ask and wanted to try to avoid daycares as he just didn't trust it. He said he would pay and cover everything, but he just urgently needed someone, and I said I'd ask around. I don't really have friends, and I don't know many people in general, as I'm very introverted, but my sister-in-law, 25, lives with us and was just telling me how she needed a job and needed money, so I proposed the idea to her. She immediately agreed, and so I put her and my brother in a group chat to talk, as well as brought my brother over to the house to have a face-to-face chat about it. Now, they're not strangers, of course. They've met before, so it wasn't awkward. They talked about the baby, what was needed, etc. My brother didn't have a long-term plan mapped out right then, since everything was so abrupt. But my sister-in-law was understanding and said she'd, quote, be okay with whatever, and that was that. I'm not sure of other details, as they text on their own, and it isn't really my deal. It was up to them. Ultimately, it came down to my brother Ubering my sister-in-law to his house early in the morning and then dropping her off at home and seeing how things go, which she agreed to. Everything seemed fine until the day of. My husband came into our room and blindsided me with all these complaints on her behalf. He said my sister-in-law had not eaten since the morning, that she wasn't comfortable and she was tired, and that she didn't even need to be there because other people were home and could have watched the baby, and that they only gave her $100, blah, 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 etc., etc.
Is he coming in and being like, oh my God, I just got like all of these things? Or is he like, OP, sister-in-law doesn't even need a beat, she's uncomfortable?
That one.
Because that's crazy.
That one, 100%.
If I were OP, I'd be like, oh, okay, let's feed her. Jeez, are you hangry too?
Yeah.
Do you need a snack too?
I'd be asking where he, first of all, who he thought he was.
Who do you think you are?
Anyway, I was confused because I spoke to sister-in-law while she was there to check in on her, and she said everything was fine. So I told him. She didn't say any of those things to me, and I asked her, and she said she wasn't complaining to him. So I said to him bluntly, so she's not complaining. You are complaining for her. And he said, yeah.
Oh, that's even worse.
I told him I was confused because he was throwing it all at me as if it's my responsibility, and that sister-in-law and my brother are two adults who made their own deal. That was up to her, and she agreed to it. Nobody was forcing her to do this. If she was uncomfortable or anything, all she had to do was say it. He continued to repeat the complaints and said, do I have to get involved? I told him the deal doesn't involve him, or me, for that matter. And I don't understand why he's the only one upset here when it has nothing to do with him.
Also, do I have to get involved? So condescending. Do I have to get involved?
Do I have to get involved?
Does the man have to get involved here?
Do I have to get involved?
I'm sorry.
Shut up.
It looked like the man might have to be involved now. Scoot over.
Your face is about to get involved with my fist.
Sir, you single-handedly
I wouldn't do
walked
that.
in and made everything worse.
I wouldn't do that, though.
So he told me he can't even have a conversation with me and left the room. I'm genuinely confused. Am I missing something here? My sister-in-law is also confused as to why he even got worked up to begin with. Am I the a-hole? Comment number 1, not the a-hole. Did he forget that his sister is a grown woman who can speak up for herself if she was uncomfortable? And even then, she would address her concerns with your brother, not you, since neither of you were involved in the deal they discussed. Maybe he's misplacing his anger. Ask him about it, especially since even his sister seems just as confused. OP says, that's what I said. They're adults. It's my brother, but not my deal. My only involvement was getting them to talk about my brother's offer. I'm not sure where the anger is from or why he even was upset about it. Commenter 2 says, is your husband on good terms with your brother? OP says, yeah, as far as I know. My brother is the one who even helped us move to our new house. They have zero problems with each other. This is weird as F to me. Why is he so concerned about his sister? She needed a job. You got her a job. If she worked for a regular employer, would he call her boss and complain for her? What's he expect his pregnant wife to do? I don't know, man. This is weird. And do I need to get involved? No. You need to cut the cord, weirdo.
Yeah.
OP says, yeah, I mean, he threw it at me like trying to make it seem like I don't care about my sister-in-law or like something was my fault that I needed to correct. But he was the only one upset. My sister-in-law says she never complained. So I just don't get why I'm the bad guy in this argument, quote unquote. Commenter 4, why does sister-in-law live with you? I don't think you're the a-hole here, but it is very peculiar, the stance he's taking. Very weird. OP says she was in a harmful space before and had nowhere to go, so we, of course, took her in. She and I are super close, so it was really no issue with me. I just don't know why he randomly started this mess when it didn't even involve him. There's an update from 2 days after the original post. Do we have any theories?
I don't know. Like, that's what I'm trying to think. I'm like, maybe someone else is attacking. Like, what about the brother-in-law? His brother is saying something about it, and he's just passing down the stress. I don't know. I feel like this is he's redirecting the stress.
This
like
definitely
anger.
does feel like a chain of command type issue here, where it's like
I
someone,
don't know. Don't ask me about it.
It's going down the line until it's finding its home, I guess, in with his pregnant wife.
Yeah.
Wow. Just adding the kicker that it's like the pregnancy. I don't know if this guy's too brave or too stupid or both to talk to your pregnant wife like that. So since I spoke with sister-in-law and husband separately and got nowhere, I finally got the chance to sit them down together. I was calm and respectful the entire time and flat out said, okay. So in regards to the babysitting gig, what's going on? What issues are there and where are they coming from? Husband made a scoffing sound and looked annoyed, but didn't speak up. I turned to my sister-in-law and asked her bluntly, do you have any complaints, concerns, or problems with the arrangement you and my brother made for the babysitting? She said, absolutely not. I asked her, are you sure? Did you say anything to husband that says otherwise? It's completely fine if you did, but you have to speak up for yourself and talk about it, even to me, if not my brother. She said, I honestly have no issues and I didn't complain to anybody, I swear. Then we looked at husband. She told him that she was fine with the arrangements and had no complaints. Then she asked him why he made a scene for no reason. He got defensive and said, nobody said you were complaining. It just doesn't make sense to me. There's no point in you doing it and it's not convenient. Are you even getting paid good? I sat there trying to understand why he was getting so defensive, and sister-in-law shot back at him, telling him it wasn't his business and it didn't have to make sense to him, echoing the exact thing I'd said in the first place, that it had nothing to do with him and that she didn't appreciate him doing this without a good reason. He said he does have a reason. And when we asked what the reason was, He said, because it doesn't make sense to me. I calmly asked him which part didn't make sense to him and why was he so bothered by it when it does not affect his or our daily life in any way, that it didn't have to make sense to him because it isn't his arrangement. And he got angry. He stood up from his seat, rambling something about how we were ganging up on him and that we weren't going to make him the bad guy and that nobody listened.
Everyone's like, so let's talk about your feelings. No one listens to me. No one ever wants to talk about my feelings. Let's talk about that right now. No, I can't.
He said, do I need to be involved? Gets directly involved. Well, wait, no, that's not what I meant. Me and sister-in-law just looked at him while he rambled, and she was just as lost as me. I, still very calmly, asked him, what do you want out of this? And why did he keep trying to involve himself when sister-in-law clearly said just now that she is happy with the agreement? He said, nobody effing uses their brain around here but me, I guess, and walked out. Mr. Nobody effing uses their brain around here but me, I guess. And then he walked out. I don't know about y'all, but I'm no butt kisser, and I definitely wasn't about to chase after him or baby him. He was being completely ridiculous, in my opinion. So we let him go, and that was it. About an hour later, he came back and started saying things under his breath like, my own wife just let me walk out, and she doesn't even care about me. And
filthy hobbitses. They hate me. They hate Gollum. They don't even care about Gollum. Gollum, no, Master loves Gollum. No, Gollum.
That's what happened.
That was, and then that's when I realized I was married to a 780-year-old cave-dwelling troll.
That's what I realized.
Not even a troll, just like a creature.
You really liked my ring.
Yeah. That's when I realized he was really obsessed with this ring that I found. So she doesn't even care about me. And I guess it's just F me, I guess. I just don't matter. While sighing and dragging it out. I ignored all of that because grow up, dude. And he came into the room and said, so you have nothing to say to me? So I said, nope. We tried to address things and you decided to storm off. So that's that. I think you're being dramatic and that's a you problem. He then called me inconsiderate and selfish and he left. Welp, I don't know what I'm supposed to do there or what he's expecting, but there's the update, guys. And there's an edit, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now there's just another post. Okay, here's some relevant, more comments. So comment 1 says, he thinks your brother is taking advantage of his sister's kindness. He may not trust or like your brother. He may worry they'll develop a romantic relationship. Either way, he needs to grow the F up and use his grown-up words. I have zero tolerance for grown men that throw temper tantrums. So OP says, I can't gauge it at all. And at this point, I don't even care because it's just flat out ridiculous. We are all adults. My brother pays sister-in-law handsomely, even paying for her rides to and from home, which is portal to portal, and that is hard to find. Aside from texting about the baby or the arrangement, they don't really talk. And sister-in-law is an open sapphic. I tried to ask him nicely instead of being rude and invalidating whatever his problem was, but he couldn't even handle that. Now I'm so over it that I don't even care what his problem is anymore. Comment number 2. Question OP, does your husband contribute with housework and childcare, etc.? Could it be that he is pissed off that his sister who lives with you is now no longer available to help him with his contribution to the household cleaning and childcare?
Oh, I'm finally understanding the family layout here because I think I had it wrong the whole time. It's OP's husband's sister and OP's brother
Had an agreement
where sister babysits for the brother. I finally understand the plot of the story.
But are they babysitting at
The brother's house.
Continuing on.
And the sister lives with OP and her husband.
It's all coming.
It's all coming together.
That's the only thing I can think of as to why he would be pissed off. That he guilted his sister into helping out with the house and kids as part of her rent and board, and now that she has a paying job, his free maid is gone. OP says, not really. I do the cooking, cleaning, and childcare on my own. Commenter 3 says, he says nobody uses their brain except him, yet he's the only one who can't verbalize whatever's going on in his head. Your husband needs a therapist so he can learn some different ways to progress towards his goals instead of tantrums and woe is me guilt trips. And there's another update here. Update number 2. Hello once again. I know a lot of you wanted to know what happened. With all the support from you guys, I feel I do owe you that. Things have happened and I needed time to be alone and gather myself and process. My husband kept on with the attitude, the side comments under his breath, and just being generally weird. I gave no reaction and ignored this because I got better things to give my energy to. Go off, queen. Like my pregnancy and my 2 children. Anyway, I was cleaning, and my husband decided to confront me and ask me, why am I acting this way?
That's so funny. I would laugh. Ah ha ha ha. Ah ha ha ha.
Who are you and what have you done with my husband? Who are you? I asked him what he meant, and he said that I'm being some kind of way towards him. And I simply told him I absolutely will not coddle him for an attitude that doesn't make sense for him to have. He got upset, rambling about how, as his wife, it should matter to me that he's upset. And I said, I have done nothing to him, and I gave him chances to explain what's wrong, and he didn't. So no, it's not my responsibility to fix whatever is wrong with him. He said this was all my fault. And I asked him, what is my fault? I've done nothing but take care of our kids and our home as well as him. I told him that he made no sense, that nobody did anything to him, not me, not my brother, not sister-in-law, no one. That I wasn't going to deal with his attitude at all, and that he could find somewhere else to stay if he wasn't going to cut it out. He sat down and said, that's what I'm talking about. Saying that my lack of giving a crap and my no-nonsense attitude is upsetting to him.
This guy's projecting.
Brother.
This guy's projecting something.
Brother, here's the goalpost. Whoa, you just moved it way somewhere else. What are you talking about? No nonsense? You are full of nonsense.
Julia Leons. This guy's trying to get his wife to fight. Yeah, he just wants to start a fight for no reason. He's like, you don't even care.
He's doing pick me.
Yeah. He's like, whatever.
He's like, whatever. I guess you don't care that your husband has the personality profile of a 15-year-old girl who just got, dumped by her crush.
She doesn't even love me.
Here we go. I asked him why I would be wanting to put up with BS, especially while pregnant, and why would that bother him? He started all this drama over something that had nothing to do with him, and then it came. He took a deep breath and broke down with confession after confession. He admitted that he had an affair.
Oh.
He admitted that he had installed a camera in our home without telling me in hopes I'd do something so he could use it as defense.
All of the people in the chat who were saying affair were freaking right.
Wow.
This man was projecting.
That's so wild.
Wow.
This
man was projecting louder than a theater kid in a musical.
And they do project.
They project, man.
And that he'd figured out the woman he cheated with knew my brother, which is why he freaked about sister-in-law working for him. A delicate little web of lies was woven, wasn't it? He admitted he started drama to create an argument on purpose, to give him a reason to feel justified, and my calm reactions for everything made it impossible for him. It bothered him that I never did anything wrong because he had done something wrong and couldn't shift any blame. I could barely react. I kind of just looked up at him. My stomach was hurting. I just couldn't wrap my brain around any of it. He told me he was sorry, that he's a piece of crap, and he doesn't know why he did it, that he loves me, tearing himself down, and I just told him to stop talking. I calmly said to remove whatever camera he had installed and to find somewhere else to stay. Cried and begged, and I shut it down. He asked if I was going to tell sister-in-law. You're worried about me telling people or what other people are going to think of you instead of worrying about the effing damage you've just done to our family. He left, but wouldn't stop calling me, trying to talk. Suddenly, he wants to have a conversation, huh? How funny. I put my phone on silent and went to play with my kids, trying to be normal to shield them from it. I didn't want them to see me upset. And by the way, it'll never make us upset if you go listen to full episodes with stories like this on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search
Okay, story time.
and you will find
a whole lot of stories.
That's right. We do have a little bit of story left here. This is pretty rough. You've got kids involved. Clearly, you're leaving him. Yeah. I would support that.
Absolutely. I mean, at least hopefully the sister's still around.
Yeah,
maybe she can help babysit your kids.
Lean on the family that was there for you.
Yes. Your husband is a terrible person, and it feels like his sister probably would take your side.
Yeah, which is probably why he was concerned about it.
Yeah.
I would let that cat out of the bag. Let the family know, hey, I'm divorcing him. However, he's still the father of these kids, and you are still their family. So I don't want to just ice you all out of the children's lives, and probably approaching it that way, I think would be best, because then it doesn't sound like hey, I need you to take care of my kids.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more just like
Love to
open
have you
door
involved.
policy
Sure.
to like be
Love my
part of a
children.
loving family here.
Yeah.
Your choice. Also, babysit my kids on Thursdays.
Thank you. Can you pick them up after school, please? Finish her off.
Let's finish it off. I put my kids to bed and cried it out. We've been together since we were like 15. I've never cheated on him ever. We're approaching 30. Like, what type of crap is that? I've never had a trust issue with him before. I'm not a phone snooper. I just don't do things like that. And I didn't have a reason for why he's never behaved like this before. Maybe he's cheated before and I just don't know about it. I don't even care to know. One time is enough for me.
Yeah.
I want a divorce. I will be fair about it. I will not turn our children against him. I won't drag it out, but I am done. Thanks for listening, guys. And it's going to be brighter on the other side of that, OP.
That's
for sure.
Yeah.
We've got some comments here. Yeah, he wanted a reason to make you the villain. So he could say, well, she acted like this or spoke to me like this. That's why I cheated. I'd tell everyone and tell your brother about the woman he knows who was banging your husband. I'd block his number and use sister-in-law as a go-to when he can come and collect the kids for visitation. I know it's hard, but don't take him back. This man tried to manipulate you into being the villain so it would justify him effing another woman. Commenter 2 says, you should absolutely tell your sister-in-law she's been filmed without her permission for God knows how long while living with you guys.
Yeah.
She absolutely deserves to know this. Get your ducks in a row. Start separating finances. Get your important paperwork together. Consult a lawyer. That's what you do. But there's a lot to prepare, and you need to get started now before the baby comes. Also, make sure someone is around to help after the baby comes because you cannot allow yourself to depend on the man that cheated on you and tried to make you the bad guy.
Absolutely.
And that is the end of that story. Yeah. It's true.
It's going to take a lot of work to come out of this in a good way. But yeah.
It's an interesting angle I haven't thought of where it's like, not only it's like, yeah, you lose the help of like he can't be there. Just completely, But hey.
You're going to make it through.
Not your fault, OP. Definitely not your fault.
You handle everything perfectly, honestly. But there is
that was a perfect playthrough.
One more story.
My husband is upset that spending time together makes me happy?
How dare you like being with your husband?
Here's the TLDR of my relationship. Husband and I have been together for 9 years, married for 2.5. We're both about 30. We had a baby 14 months ago. The pregnancy was a surprise birth control failure, but we both wanted kids and we're happy. We had discussed ethical non-monogamy in the past, but put the discussion on hold during the pregnancy. And by the way, this comes from user Alien Flowers. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. Another bullet point here. After I gave birth, my husband brought it up again and started really pushing for polyamory. He also took on extra work as I had to stay home due to daycare costs eating up more than my monthly paycheck could cover. He started pushing me off onto his family and wouldn't ever be home to help me or give me a break. He told me to go to his mom for a break, and all he was good for was bringing home money. Throughout all of postpartum, he's basically insinuated, if not outright said, that he doesn't want me to rely on him or want him around. At 6 months postpartum, he pushed for us to open our relationship. I hated it. He was disappointed when we closed it after a month. I also went back to school full-time at this and have maintained a 4.0 since.
Oh my gosh.
We've been in couples therapy for about 5 or 6 months now. We each have our own therapists too.
Okay.
Baby was also EBF, and I still nurse her 2 to 3 times a day and plan to do so until at least 18 months or so.
Exclusive breastfeeding.
All right. That's the background. Now we're in therapy, and I thought it was working. The last few weeks, he's worked less and made time to hang out with me and our baby more. He's planned outings for us, taken us for bike rides, been home to cook dinner and do chores, and to watch the baby or / toddler so I can have some me time or some friend time. It's been so nice, and I mentioned to him that it made me happy and thanked him for doing all this and making progress like we've talked about in therapy. On our walk this morning and in our last therapy session, he said it made him disappointed that I was so happy with spending all this time together. He said that he'd noticed since he stopped working so much and hanging out with us more at home that I'd been happier and that it just proved to him that he was the problem. He said that everything he wants is a problem, and when he doesn't do or get what he wants, then I'm happy. He said he's happy spending time with me and our baby, but he's disappointed too.
Okay, whoa. So is he saying that everything that he wants is to just be working all the time?
I don't even know what to think of this, which, yeah, I kind of agree. I'm just hurt that I've dedicated so much time and energy to this relationship, to raising our baby, who is absolutely incredible, and that I've been told I shouldn't be asking more of him. And that when I do spend time together, he might be happy in the moment, but seems to look back at it with regret and disappointment.
Okay, so that's definitely something that can be salvaged, I feel, maybe, by going to therapy. If you're happy in the moment, focus on that. Why are you feeling this regret?
Now, I don't know if he's even happy to be with me. It certainly doesn't feel like it.
Oh.
It feels like he sees our relationship as holding him back, but when I try to tell him this, he just says it feels like I don't trust him. He says that lack of trust makes him not want to try. I tell him I'm trying to trust him, but he keeps doing the same pattern of spending time with us and then pulling away, and then the cycle repeats. I don't want him to pull away. I don't want him to tell me I shouldn't need him. And that's when I could start trusting him again. Right now, I'm always waiting for him to stop engaging with me and just always be away. He struggles a lot with negative self-talk and negative self-image, so I try not to say negative things when describing what I want out of our relationship or how I'm hurt, but then he just puts words in my mouth, feels self-pity, shuts down, and stops talking to me for a day or more. So what do I do from here? How do I even address this? What do I say to our therapist? And there are some very relevant comments here, I'm sure. OP on her husband helping her with her postpartum depression. OP says, there was a time over the summer when my PPD was really bad. One day I asked him to come home from work early. Another day, a week or so later, I asked him to stay home entirely. He's a construction worker, so not always with the same company, and that company didn't ask him to come to the next job with them. He said that after he left and stayed home to help me, they all treated him differently and sort of isolated him. Instead of being upset with those misogynistic a-holes, he was upset with me, and sometimes still brings it up as an example of how I can't handle myself and the baby on my own.
No, should she? Should she have to do that?
I've told him his frustrations are misplaced, that I shouldn't be blamed for needing him, and if a job can't be understanding that a new dad may need to help his wife and child, that it's better he doesn't work with them anymore. He just gets more frustrated. Caring for our kid is our job, not my job. Commenter says, it sounds like he didn't really want to be a monogamous partner or a parent. He may have just been ticking off boxes on the life milestone list, like getting married and having kids. Either way, at least he's gained some self-awareness and realized he's been a crappy husband and father. He's shown you a pattern that is likely to repeat itself. OP says, I keep telling him this, that for the past year, this pattern has repeated. He'll be more involved for a couple weeks, then throw himself back into work, and I'll have no support from him. He asked me today how long it will take for me to trust him and that he feels like he's being timed. I said there's no time limit. The change has to keep going. I see that he's putting in the work, but I've seen that before, and I want it to actually stick, or for him to not put up such a fight about it if it does start to slip into him working too much again. Commenter 2 says, I've seen this kind of thing happen when people get together very young. You guys seemed to be 21. You likely didn't get a lot of dating and relationships in before the two of you were together. He isn't happy. He said it by word and deed repeatedly. He doesn't want you to be happy in this because he wants out. He wants to be with other people, and again, he's shown this through word and deeds. Do you want to be stuck with someone who does not want you? Do you want to be with someone who resents you for wanting to only be with him? OP says he dated a lot of people before me. I only dated him. I went on a few dates, but didn't have any relationships. He said about 2 to 3 weeks ago that maybe we should separate. I went to my parents' house with the baby. Oh my God. He started apologizing and changed his actions. Now he's upset. I'm happy with the change. It just feels like a big back and forth, and I'm getting tired of it. I'm scared to not be with him, though. I love so many of the people where we live, and I know I'd be the one giving that up. Those friendships and supports I had to build while he was away working and doing whatever. It's just so unfair. He didn't have to stay with me if this wasn't what he wanted, but he made every effort and attempt to say it was, to commit himself to me and us. But once we have a baby, he wants out. He wanted me to keep the baby. He doted on me all throughout pregnancy. Comment 3 says, the pregnancy was a surprise birth control failure, but we both wanted kids and we're happy. Are you sure you weren't the only one happy about this? Whose birth control failed? I'm guessing it wasn't his because very little of what you have shared tells me that he wants to be a parent. Therapy is not the answer. You guys want completely different things. I had a copper IUD, baby implanted next to it. I sent him a picture of the test. Then he met me at the OBGYN for ultrasound confirmation and IUD removal. He cried when he saw the pictures and said he was so happy and wanted to be a dad. I was hesitant and said we could consider a termination due to our life circumstances and the surprise of it all. He said it was up to me and we decided to keep the baby. Commenter 4 says, how much longer until you finish school? I would honestly focus on being done so you can secure higher earning potential for yourself. Quietly talk to a divorce lawyer so you can strategize regarding the best time to file and seek spousal support and child support, and then leave and let him do whatever the F he wants. He doesn't like being a husband or a father, and he seems manipulative and selfish. OP says 2 years, and I'm done. And there's an update.
Oh boy.
I had gotten in contact with the divorce lawyer's office and had a brief consultation with a secretary. It wasn't too long, and I haven't done much more gathering of info because I've had 10 different final papers and projects and presentations happening and just don't have the time or energy to work on it right now. Since his last comments, things had gone back to getting better. We still spent time together with our toddler and things were starting to feel fun and like we were getting closer again. Then we went for a walk today.
I don't like where this is going.
Boy. Well, maybe he'll finally just be honest, huh?
You'll wake up and smell the flowers.
On our walk, he asked me how I thought things had been between us, and I said I thought they'd been good, that I liked spending time together. Then I asked if he was still feeling the same way as the last time we talked about this. He basically said yes, that he's disappointed that he's the problem, and if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be in couples therapy. He also said that he doesn't ask me to change anything for him, which is BS because he asked me to be poly for him. I felt frustrated at this because I'm not asking him to change. I'm asking him to do what he had done our whole relationship before he changed. He used to make me homemade picnic dates, surprise me with my favorite snacks and coffee and drinks or my favorite chocolates from a European-style chocolatier.
Wow.
We'd go on a date every weekend and hang out every evening. We'd text constantly and always found new things to talk about even after almost 8 years. Then once the baby was born, he began pushing me away, telling me I shouldn't rely on him, while also pushing for a polyamorous relationship. He told me he would burn the fumes in his tank to make sure others were taken care of, but then tell me he couldn't give me those same fumes when I needed him, or even anything from his tank when it was full. It was so opposite of how he used to treat me. And I told him this on our walk.
Okay. I like the communication.
What on earth is this guy going to say to that?
I don't know, and I'm so scared.
You think he's just going to go, wow, I can't believe you would say something like that to me. I'm going to have to not talk to you for 2 days.
Probably.
I can't believe you brought up the truth.
Yeah.
How could you?
You're really like putting a lot on me right now, and I feel very attacked.
His response was to say he accepts that he was at fault, but I wouldn't be convinced of his position no matter what he said. I told him that he's not accepting he was or is at fault if he keeps trying to convince me otherwise.
Yeah.
He's like, I know it's my fault, but you'll never accept it's not my fault.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
I'm not going to tell you because you would never understand. I'm not going to tell you why I would, why I'm still in the right.
Yeah.
But it's just because you would never understand.
In our next couples therapy session, I'm going to bring up that I think we've been both sidesing the issues in our relationship. I'm guilty of participating in this. I'll defend him and try to protect his ego and work together. But honestly, I haven't done anything wrong in this regard. I've acted and reacted in an impossible situation that my husband has put me in. I just don't know why the birth of our child changed him so much, made polyamory into such a fixation of his when that time and energy for his self-discovery could have been put into directly caring for myself and our baby. He keeps trying to make excuses that he didn't get to do much the first year of her life, but he went on multiple hour-long hikes and dinners with his friend, went on a solo camping trip, slept over at another friend's house for their birthday instead of coming to the first family outing I had planned since giving birth. Went hiking and rafting a couple times with the significant others of some of my friends, went on dates with me, went on dates with other people, had dinner with friends, went on solo bike rides where he'd been gone for multiple hours or even all day. And hey, by the way, you can do all of that stuff while listening to full episodes with stories just like this.
There you go.
All you got to do is go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to podcasts, search OK Storytime, and you'll find 60 days back to back to back. It's 24 times 60 hours worth of stories to listen to.
Wow.
When I point out my husband has been able to do things since the birth of our daughter, his comeback is that it's not as much as he usually did before the baby. He only got to ride his motorcycle once or twice last year. I could have done all those things too. Never mind that I was exclusively breastfeeding our baby, and going out anywhere meant having a portable pump and refrigeration options on hand, never mind a space where I could actually comfortably sit and pump for 20 to 30 minutes in the middle of activities. I don't know, man. Just what the F happened? How did I go from a devoted and loving, feminist-minded husband to whatever he is now? Whatever. I'm still going to try and fix things because maybe at some point he'll see the light. But at the same time, I'm going to begin to craft my exit plan.
That's all you can do.
Let's get into these relevant comments. Comment 1. Wait, so his tank is on fumes, but he wants additional partners? Right, BS. He can't take care of the relationship he has, but he wants more of them? This man was never a progressive feminist and is acting like an entitled baby. He has a child and a wife, and he's acting like he didn't ask for either, and he's a victim. I don't think there is a both sides here, and I would seriously reconsider any couple's therapist who lets him get away with thinking both of you are contributing to him being entitled, disengaged, and selfish. OP says, yeah, I've been frustrated by that in therapy, though I think our therapist is trying to follow our lead a little bit because he knows he can't fix it for us and is trying to help us figure out how to fix it ourselves. I've also been contributing to it and presenting things that way because I'm not trying to avoid responsibility for things. But yeah, it's not my fault things are the way they are. Commenter 2 says, what did he expect when y'all became parents? He's a dad now. Crap gets real when you have to put all your energy, money, blood, sweat, and tears into raising your kids right. It's not going to be a bed of roses the whole way. And you know what? A bed of roses would be uncomfortable because they've got thorns.
Right.
I've always been confused by that.
I've never thought about it that way.
A bed of roses looks nice.
Yeah.
If you lay on them, it's going to hurt.
It's going to hurt unless there's enough roses where the flower part is the only part that touches you.
A bed of rose petals.
Bed of rose petals
would have to be the distinction. Anyway. Yeah. I'm sorry he's placing the fault on you. You don't deserve to be treated like the problem when it's him that's making insane demands on you, and you're doing the right thing, girl. OP says, thank you. It's not like he didn't expect it, or at least he was aware. We talked throughout the pregnancy about how everything will change, how it already had changed for me, and how my life and my plans were pushed back a year because of pregnancy and postpartum. He got to keep much more of his life and freedom than I did. Yes, he took on extra side work to bring in some of the money we were losing with me staying home, though we would have lost even more if I'd kept working. But all the time he was working, I was taking care of our baby. And all the time he wasn't working, I was taking care of our baby. Comment 3 says he was never a true feminist. Oh, sure, he was a feminist when he was getting the spicy sleep regularly and he was the main character in your life. But after the baby, patriarchy says he's not supposed to be the caregiver. Patriarchy says it's normal for you to be around a burned out mess, not his problem. Look, okay, patriarchy aside, I think you don't need to be the patriarchy to tell you to be a good husband or a bad husband. This guy I don't think this guy's sitting down at the bi-weekly patriarchy meeting and being like, yeah, so we're going to keep being bad husbands this week. Right? Cool.
Good.
I think he just doesn't want to be a husband at all. And he's trying to make her leave.
Yeah.
And he's probably cheating on her. I would put all of my eggs into that basket. I don't think we're going to get that revelation here.
Yeah.
But I
don't think so either, but
I'm heavily suspect.
Oh yeah. What kind of trips is he going on? What's he doing all day at work in those long hours?
That's on me, by the way.
What trips is he going on? What's he doing at work?
Oh, he's putting in work.
Oh.
Okay. Patriarchy says it's normal for him to want spicy sleep with other people no matter how his wife feels about it, so he believed it. It benefits him. That's the whole story. Look, patriarchy has never convinced me I need polyamory. Gross. I'll say that, okay?
Yep.
Maybe he gets his head out of his butt and decides to actually build a loving and successful life with you. Someone who really wants that. But that's going to be an uphill climb because he's already figured out that just following the scripts he's heard all his life ensures his life really didn't have to change half as much as yours did. I would really hone in on that with the therapist. And if the therapist tries to both sides, fire that therapist. You don't need a therapist to act like you're the problem here when you 100% are not. I feel for you, and I think it's wise you're keeping an exit plan. OP says, I just don't really know how to make that exit plan. I'm not working as I take care of the toddler full-time and am in school on a full-time schedule too, squished into 2 days a week while my parents take care of the little one. So I'm not making my own money at the moment. I don't graduate until 2027 with a master's, woo.
Nice.
So I either have to stay with him until I get a job after graduation so I can afford my own place, or I have to move in with my parents before that who don't really have the space for us but can make it work. Commenter 4 says, seriously, no, just break up. This is a complete waste of time and energy. I was rooting for you in the last post, and I felt that reading this is a waste of my time and energy. Just break up. OP says, thank you. I feel like my wheels are just spinning on this too. It feels like every time things get better lately, he tells me he's not fulfilled. I don't know why he won't just break up with me then. What does he want to fix if being together makes him feel so bad? And that's the end of the story.
My wife refused to compromise on our marriage because it's against who she is.
That's just the way I am.
When I was younger, before I met my wife, I had a pretty fun and adventurous life. I drank, I partied, I worked out, I tried some different substances, I worked out hard, and I had amazing, passionate, spicy sleep.
Cool.
I never went to college, but I worked hard and became a general manager, then a district manager. I was then asked to move from the West Coast to the Midwest to open and grow a small business. I accepted. By the way, this comes from Mr. 12, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, I met my wife. I calmed down on the partying, going out and drinking. The substances I tried were usually a once or twice off while on a bachelor party here and there, so no issue there. On our first date, my wife didn't dress up, put on any makeup, or even shower after work. She came in a tank top and some black short shorts. I thought to myself, this is actually incredibly cute. She gives such few F's about this date. She is so low maintenance. She's still beautiful and fit even without all of that. She also told me on our first date that she doesn't like dressing up or putting on makeup. We went out again and again with slightly varying degrees of effort and dressing up. On our fourth date was a big one. We went to her favorite musical and she dressed to the nines. Tight black dress, wedges, black panties, makeup and everything. She looked stunning and I thought, what a catch. She's beautiful without any effort and gorgeous with it. We had spicy sleep for the first time afterwards. And okay. And it was a long and passionate and it happened again
All right,
and again.
dude, you're cool. We get it. Just move on.
Move on. My wife had the complete opposite lifestyle that I had growing up. She is a homebody, didn't party, she's never been wasted, never tried substances, doesn't really like going out, hates cooking, but likes tidying it and cleaning. I thought we would do an amazing job of balancing each other out. I could make her come out of her shell a little bit and she could rein me in. We used to work out together regularly. She was an athlete growing up and so was I. I still fancy myself an athlete to a degree. As my business grew, I had less time for working out for a few years. She stopped going to the gym as she got busier at work and we didn't have a workout routine together. We went through some ups and downs, lulls in our spicy sleep life due to her going to bed at 9 every night and me usually working until 10 p.m. or later. We got married and then moved to the suburbs. I sell my business and get a corporate job. I do well at my job. She does well at her job and gets promoted. I have time to go to the gym again, lose 30 pounds and put muscle back on. She works from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day. I don't have any more crazy nights. I rarely drink, cook dinner at home, and have a boring life that is eating at me from the inside. The way that this OP is like setting things up, not even with the story, but just how he's writing the story, it feels like his English teacher would be like, you gotta show, not tell, my guy. This is all telling. You gotta
he's giving the the exposition here.
There is no spice or passion in our life together. We are vanilla. We have no similar hobbies or shows that we watch together. Mostly we talk about work. I approach her and I say, this is what I need so I can be happier in our marriage. I'd like you to start coming back to the gym with me or doing some sort of exercise with me. For whatever screwed up reason, I need this for my partner to feel a connection with you. Interesting. TMI here, but the only time we ever have something close to not vanilla spicy sleep is when we do some sort of physical activity together, like go on a hike or a rare yoga class together. I need a little bit more excitement or craziness from you. I'm not asking you to do a line of substances off of a spicy dancer's front airbag, but just be more open having a few drinks at a nice restaurant on a Tuesday night. If we lighten up a bit, some of our passion for life might come back. On our date nights, don't pull up in front of the house. Text me to come outside and drive us to the nearest restaurant because you're starving. Would you mind coming in and putting on a little makeup or something other than what you wore to work? Not every time, just every once in a while. So it feels like you're putting some effort into it. And there were some other minor requests. Her response. All of those things are against my core being, so I can't do those things for you. You shouldn't expect me to change who I am. I feel like the things I'm asking aren't excessive or unreasonable.
Right, but you asked in the wrong way, so she's being defensive.
I feel like these are basic things a married couple does to keep a spark going for the 60 years you plan to be together. Am I being unreasonable? There are some edits and additions. First off, thanks for the responses so far. Some of them have been eye-opening to what an a-hole I am for the way I presented this to her.
Thank you.
However, that doesn't change the way I feel. Second, something that I should add is that despite dressing up and wearing makeup being against her core being, she has no problem doing it for the occasional wedding or big event. Exactly. You want an event. You want a special thing to be excited for, and dressing up is a part of the process.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Anyone you're married to shouldn't need to have to put on anything to go anywhere with you. Only if they want to.
She says she likes to look good for the pictures. So can it really be against her core being? Third, everyone is focusing on the makeup and excitement comment, and I can see how that makes me sound like an absolute jackbutt. The thought I was trying to convey, which I did end up explaining to her as well, was that we needed to do things together to find a connection again. I unfortunately feel no closeness or emotional connection to my wife right now. I've suggested multiple different activities and adventures we can go on together so that we can share a common experience. She's usually too tired from work. And I don't need to do more things alone. I do plenty of things alone between friends, classes, and sports leagues. I want to do things with my wife. Fourth, at no point did I ever ask her to come party with me. I don't even party anymore. Where did I say that I asked her to party? All I said that I wish she could be more open and trying new things with me, whether it's a new restaurant or a new class, activity, or adventure. More addition. Where does it say anything about asking her to lose weight? People go to the gym for a variety of reasons besides losing weight. We do have an update. I'll try to keep this as short as I can. So over the weekend, we talked much more calmly about some of the stuff that I approached her about. I started off by apologizing for the way that I phrased my wants, but also said that just because I was an a-hole in the way that I handled it doesn't change that those wants still exist. She acknowledged that it is definitely fair to want the relationship to be passionate and exciting after being together for 5 years. We came to some of the following agreements. Exercise and physical challenging activities together. She confessed that she can't get back into going to the gym because she associates the gym and working out with 10 years of her life where she was forced to work out, constantly told that she wasn't good enough and needed to be better, and being yelled at by coaches in high school and college.
Oof. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, bigger deal. Turns out this aversion is something a lot of athletes deal with, which is news to me. I didn't know that either.
Oh, yeah, dude. You think that's why, like, there's a huge, a great football player who retired, like, at, like, not the height of his career, but it's like he's definitely still could have kept going. And he's just like, I just don't have it in me. I just don't want to do it anymore. I already won the Super Bowl.
Dang.
Dude, I want to keep doing this. This stuff's hard.
It is hard.
And I'm done.
Sense.
I got a family.
Yeah.
I got a Super Bowl ring.
Chill out.
I got money.
You're good.
I'm over it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
Once you make that call,
Yeah. I started looking into physical activities that we can do together, and we're planning to try some different things. We have an indoor rock climbing date planned for this week of fun, which we are both excited about. See, that's fun. There's a lot of fun activities to do that doesn't have to be like go push,
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Yeah.
As for effort into the date night, I backtracked big time on the makeup and be more fun and exciting thing and said that I was a total knucklehead for saying that, and it was not what I meant. I used a horrible example there. I explained in a little more detail that I basically wanted to feel more like she wanted me to be attracted to her. She agreed that it was unfair for her to pull up after work on a date. She agreed that it was unfair for her to pull up after work on date nights and just have me run out to the car so we can get to the restaurant and chow down. We will both be putting more effort into date nights. See, that's so nice. I love these solutions.
Look at what happens when you open communication channels with each other. Yes.
And it's okay if it starts in a bad way because you didn't mean it. You make mistakes and then you communicate about that.
Yes.
I will do a better job of picking new and fun places to try. She will be more open to trying new things and spend some time after work getting ready. Which brings us to the last point. Her work hours. She didn't realize the toll it was taking on a relationship that she was exhausting herself at work. She said that she will make a bigger effort to leave by 4:30 going forward and to go in less on the weekends, which will leave more time for us to do things together, even if it's as simple as relaxing by the pool. I didn't mention the spicy sleep stuff. I'm hoping that if these changes stick, that will naturally result in a more passionate spicy sleep life, which will probably be true, honestly. I ended by asking if there was anything else that she wanted from me and that she didn't have to respond right now. She said that she will take some time to think about that, as she hasn't even thought about anything like that lately. Thanks to everyone for the advice, and I'm excited to see where our relationship goes from here. And I'm excited to see all of you go over to Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. We've got full episodes and more stories just like this one. Just search OK Storytime.
That's right. Over 2,000 episodes.
So many. There's more to this story, but I'm loving how this is going.
Yes, it's perfect.
This makes me feel so warm inside.
Yes, it's like when you feel like things are slipping in any given context, like a relationship or something, it's like, just talk. You have to talk about it.
Yes.
Don't just sit there and say nothing.
Exactly. It's just I feel like this is such a breath of fresh air because so many of these stories, like when problems start to come up like this, or similar to this, it's usually like, no, like, blah, blah, it's just be this whole fight and then it ends up that they shouldn't be together and that whoever brought up the problems was the a-hole because he didn't bring them up in the right way. But this is so relieving that it's like, hang on, guys. It's okay. They both love each other and they're going to work it out. It's so nice. And we do have a little bit more to the story. So,
indeed.
More happy updates. She's currently planning a date for us for the weekend, which is a trip to Tequila Fest in our local downtown. This is something so literally beyond anything that she's ever shown an interest in that I am totally floored. Sorry, I'm not trying to brag, just really excited. And I understand that she's probably not interested in tequila, but that she's going to do it to make an effort to do stuff together. And that is the end of that beautiful story.
My wife is upset about my weight loss. She wants me back to my old self.
Time to get to work.
Wait, what?
I got married to my wife 6 years ago when she got pregnant. Ideally, we would have dated for longer than 9 months, but it is what it is. And we had our son soon after. By the way, this comes from Transformer Dad, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, within the few years of our marriage, life was good. I got to learn a lot about my wife, and we got along really well, more than when we were dating. Then my dad passed of a heart attack when I was 35. Wow. Ooh. My dad had just turned 59. This was a reality check, and I remember I cared so much because I had my son. And if I wanted my son to have me around when I was 35, I was at least going to have to live to 71 without keeling over from a similar health issue. I went and did a physical and blood work, found that I had high cholesterol and high blood pressure. I told the doctor my workout plan and diet and set on my way. Following some of the workout and diet Reddits was helpful. Within a year, I was down to my normal weight. And within 2 years, I had a six-pack, something I never had when I was younger. From that point, my doctor told me my health had exponentially improved, but I was thirsty for more.
All right.
I wanted to look even more aesthetically pleasing. So I got a picture of the 300 cover photo and set about building my body for that Halloween. In that time, I think my wife and I must have grown apart. My wife used to always be fit when we dated, but after having our son, she must have been too busy to exercise. I invited her with me to work out. I saved up money and built a separate 2-car garage behind the house to build a home gym, but she would say she was tired or happy the way she was. I would go for jogs with my son in the stroller, and whenever she joined us, she would insist we walk. I asked her to try jogging, and she would snap back, asking if I didn't find her attractive. That's tough. I think she's feeling, I think she's probably, like, really quick, I think she's probably feeling a lot of, like,
insecurities.
And I think OP's not even doing this from a mindset of like, oh, you don't look good to me. Like, I'm putting all this work, you should put it too. I think it's just when you are a very active person, you enjoy it. Anyway, of course I love my wife. I love her as the mother of my child. I love her as the daughter-in-law she is when helping my mother. And most of all, I love her as my wife and how she is forever my companion. This became even more apparent with time. While I would be cooking chicken breasts and broccoli for the week, she would say that I should start eating lasagna and fried chicken that I used to eat before. I told her that I didn't want to go back.
Yeah, wait, that stuff was me, man.
I just don't understand her thought process. When you hear, presumably he's told her that he was literally like on the route to pass very early on in his life, maybe get a heart attack.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I actually don't care. My insecurities are more important than your life.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And plus social media. Oh, dude, social media makes you think things of yourself, and it's so harmful to people.
I told her that I didn't want to go back to being overweight and obese. My BMI used to be 32 and the doctor said that was classified as obese. Now my BMI was 25, borderline overweight, but I am at 10% body fat, so I was careful with my food and she got upset. She asked if I thought she was fat and I calmly told my wife to go ask the doctor because I thought she looked good, but I was biased. After her appointment the next week, she came back home crying. She said her doctor said she was overweight and should consider a diet plan and working out. I thought I would see changes in my wife's behavior, but nothing happened. Now summer has come around and my son is a bubbling ball of excitement and always wants to go to the pool. I take him to the community pool to play with other kids that live in our neighborhood, and my wife joins us sometimes. Last weekend, the neighborhood had a pool party and everyone and their kids were there. My wife came and my son and I were having fun playing in the water and socializing with the people who came there. When we got home, after my son took a nap, my wife walked me into our bedroom and started questioning me. She asked me if I was sleeping with X woman who was there, Y woman who was talking to me, or Z woman whose kid I was helping dry off and talking to. I said I didn't know what she was talking about. And then she pulled out her phone to show me pictures she had taken from her seat. They were pictures of me smiling and talking to these women.
Oh, cheating. Cheating.
I sat my wife down and told her I would never cheat. I have a son that she provided me and a wife that I loved and cared so much about. She wouldn't accept that answer though. She said that I must be attracted to those women because they can look good wearing bikinis while she's heavier than them. Her words, not mine. Then she changed the focus to me. She said I was getting all this attention because I was now fit compared to before, and it would cause me to waver in my fidelity now that other women were attracted to me. My wife told me that she wants me back to my old self when she didn't have to worry about other women and would be comfortable together. She said she feels this undue pressure to become fit herself and feels like it's too stressful to maintain that lifestyle. Can someone please tell me what to do? I'm not going to lie to my wife, but if I'm being honest, I think she would be much more attractive if she tried to get back into shape, even just trying. Don't tell her that.
Yeah, keep that to yourself.
Don't tell her that, buddy. I hope you haven't told her that before, but don't tell her that.
Yeah, keep that one to yourself.
I don't know how I can tell her this without hurting her feelings. Don't. Or making her feel more insecure. Can someone tell me how to approach this? There is an update, but I can... Ooh, I got some thoughts. Stop. Pause. But Riley, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm thinking about the equal yoke thing because I feel like couples are better whenever they're on the same page about things. Clearly, you and your wife are not. And I think it would make life so much easier if both of you were very fit or if both of you weren't very fit. It's either, it's just like a rubber band and you guys are doing this right now. And to release the tension of the rubber band, someone needs to either give in or follow the other one. So someone's going to need to give in.
And you can't follow her because you might die.
You might die. And you understand the, limitations of that. Couples counseling, opening her up to something else. I don't know. I feel like your wife needs to move kind of closer towards you. And it doesn't mean like your wife needs to start working out 5 times a week and eat this and da-da-da-da-da. It's like, being okay with going on a walk. You guys don't have to jog, but being okay with the walk. The wife sees this as a big undertaking. Yeah. Because you went through like a big change in your life. Yeah. And it sounds like you guys got to go back to square one, figure out what's a good step to ease the tension on that.
Yeah, I think you just tell her, therapy. Let's approach this from a health standpoint. Yeah.
But it does seem like there's some ego happening on both sides here. Some pride on both sides.
I think so. But there is an update, so let's get into it. Thank you everyone for your posts and advice. I really appreciate it. I made a few realizations about myself and my relationship to my wife. I wasn't easing my wife into getting into a healthy lifestyle and had completely forgotten that when I started out, I took it very slow, which is, kind of what we were saying. Like, don't just drop her into stuff that she doesn't like doing. Find something that she likes. It took me 4 years to get to where I am now, and my wife was trying to keep up with my current lifestyle, which can definitely be overwhelming. I was trying to look for the perfect opportunity to talk about this with my wife, and to ease the mood a little, I went and bought her favorite bottle of wine and a bouquet. I went to talk to her in our bedroom after our son had gone to sleep, and she had these old photo albums. Apparently, she had stopped by her parents' place after work to help them with some summer cleaning, and she wanted to keep the photo album to go through the memories. I gave her the flowers and opened the wine, and we looked through the pictures while we were cuddling. We were leafing through the pictures, and then I saw one of a strikingly handsome man in a football uniform holding a girl that looked exactly like my wife when she was 24, kissing him. My wife was so interested in the picture, and she started tearing up a bit. I asked her what was wrong, and she pulled out her phone and showed me a picture of her parents now. They're in their 60s and still in love, but they have lost their shape that they had in their youth. Her dad had a really large adult soda gut, and her mom was overweight, but they were happy. She was saying that when we got married, she was hoping we would be like them. They never worried about losing faith in one another because their attractiveness faded as they grew older, but their love for one another continued to grow. She talked about her old boyfriend who became so popular in college and girls threw themselves at him that he ended up straying. She was worried the same would happen to me because women in their neighborhood started to talk and say they wish their husbands worked on their bodies like I did. She was starting to feel really insecure.
Okay. Well, girl, let me tell you something.
Tell her.
You won the jackpot here. You got the jackpot.
You got the hot guy. You got the hot man in the neighborhood.
You got the hot guy.
All the ladies want
him,
him, but they can't have him.
Everybody wants a little bite, but guess who's nibbling all day long? That's you.
That's you, girly. Then I took that opportunity. I gave her a kiss and then told her that she loved me when I was fat and women like them never noticed me. She still loves me, but those women just lust. Sure, my eyes might dart. It is physically natural. You didn't tell her that, did you?
Dude, he's just telling us.
Stop. I hope that was just an inner monologue.
Yeah.
But I loved her so much, valued our relationship so much, and only needed her in my bed. I couldn't even imagine laying with another woman besides her. She started crying tears of joy, and I didn't stop there. I pushed onwards. I grabbed the picture of her parents from college, the picture she had of her parents now, and a picture of when we started dating on my phone. I told her what her parents did. Lose track of their health, but still grow old and love each other is one way to live life. They got the chance to see their grandkids, but I know the health problems her parents have. Then I brought up my dad and how he wasn't able to spend much time with his grandson, and how I want to have the opportunity to see my future grandkids and maybe even great grandkids. I said I wanted her to be by my side. I took a picture of us now and had the picture of her parents and said, why can't this be us when we're in our 40s, 50s, 60s, till we pass? I told her I loved her, but because I loved her so much, I wanted her to become healthy. She doesn't need to get her pre-baby weight or anything drastic. I told her my story of how I just wanted to get fit, but then that developed into a desire to look good too. She admitted that she also wanted to get back her health, and at the same time, she was hoping to stick to her New Year's resolution to lose 20 pounds.
All right.
We talked, set up a plan, so she's cutting the snacks down to 2 cookies a day and logging everything she eats and portion control. That was when she brought up her monthly appointment with her psychiatrist. Apparently, she's been going to talk about how she could get over her overeating habits. I felt so bad. I had neglected my wife when I was trying to become healthy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when I could have included her in my journey, and it would have been so much easier to do together. I'm glad that he's realizing like what, the part that he's played in this as well.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. We set up an exercise schedule every day, and she was joking about how we should have spicy sleep every day to make sure we get our cardio in. See, she's getting her confidence back. I appreciate that. I took the in, and we had spicy sleep the rest of the night.
All right.
I haven't been as intimate with my wife like I was last night since our honeymoon. I hope to keep the momentum going tonight since we both took vacation for the long weekend. I mean, being more active does give you stamina.
That is true. It does.
I took the advice of being more intimate with my wife, even outside the bedroom, and was kissing her and playing around with her while we were making breakfast today, when I heard a voice shout from upstairs, "Daddy, you said we're not supposed to touch girls like that." Ended up having when a man and a woman are married and love each other so much, it's okay to do that because that's what leads to a baby conversation today. I could still see the shock in his eyes, but it had to happen so I can feel more comfortable kissing my wife and squeezing her butt in front of my son. Maybe you don't have to squeeze her butt in front of your son. Maybe we hold off on that one. The kissing's fine.
No.
I don't know if we need to do that.
Nah.
I'm so glad my wife does not have depression and that we were able to work together to put a plan to get back her health. She was showing me pictures of power couples saying in a year or two, she wants to take a picture like that together. So I'm so glad she has that goal in mind. By the way, your goal should be to listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
Dude.
But there is a little bit left to this story.
I'm so happy because I know she's going to be seeing so many results soon by just doing little different things in her day to day.
But also just like the change in their relationship already. And talking about this, bringing this in the open, and having this kind of excitement about, you know, this journey that she's going to go on and stuff, about feeling good together as a couple, feeling good as a family, feeling good individually is really exciting. I think they're on a great track.
Yeah, I love this.
Yeah. I also feel ashamed. When I was starting, it was to become healthy, but I like the physical changes I saw in my body. And for my model, I picked Leonidas from 300. What? But my wife, who was restarted on her fitness journey, printed out this picture of a husband and wife who are both fit. It just goes to show who loves who more. And I definitely need to work on that. Anyways, thank you so much for the support, Reddit. I really appreciate the help and look forward to helping my wife with her journey so that together we can live a long and wonderful life, seeing our son grow older and his future kids. And that's, you know, that's a really great kind of reason to go on the health journey.
Exactly.
I think it is really important to understand why you're going on a health journey. Because if it's just to be like super, you know, like to be like a celebrity type body or like have that like thinness and stuff, it probably is not going to last. You know, it's not going to have longevity. You're not going to have the motivation to keep it going.
But having this intention of, I want to be able to be
better.
with feel better and see my grandkids.
Yeah. Like I want to be able to play with my kids. And that has nothing to do with weight or like thinness. That just has to do with, you know, activity. Yeah. It's like, do I have mobility? That's why a lot of, you know, older people who are still very healthy and stuff have focused a lot on like their mobility and their, you know, making sure that they're flexible and stuff as they age. My wife is upset I turned down a promotion. It was too much work.
I don't want to work all day, man. I want a vacation and sit by a beach.
A few years ago, I was working 80 hours a week.
That's too many hours.
And working on weekends.
Oh my God.
I hated it. It was horrible. I had no time to see my kids. They were usually asleep when I got back. And my spicy sleep life was non-existent. The only good thing was the pay. It was very generous. It was so bad.
Oh my God, man's not getting anything.
Wow.
None of it.
By the way, this comes from No 80-Hour Week. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I quit eventually and quickly found another job in the same field, but this was only a 48-hour week, 6 days a week. The work schedule is much more tolerable and I can come home by 7 every day and still have dinner with my family and see my kids. The pay is nearly half of what I earned in my previous job, but still quite manageable. Right now, I earn $5,800 per month.
Pretty good.
We used to live in a 5-bedroom house and we were only using 3 of the rooms with 1 unused guest room and 1 office that was never used. We moved and downgraded into a much smaller house with 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. There's 1 room for each of my daughters and 1 bedroom for me and my wife. I handle all the finances because my wife isn't good with money. We have much fewer luxuries than we did before, but otherwise all our needs are being met. I am able to save half my pay, $2,700 per month. I have saved almost $10K for my eldest daughter and almost $5K for my younger daughter. I have $70K in my general savings account and have other investments. So, man's doing pretty good.
Man's doing great.
Every month, I give my wife an allowance of $200 to spend on whatever she wants. This does not include groceries and other household expenses, as I do all the household shopping and grocery shopping. We have 2 cars that have been paid off. I would say that despite my salary being halved, we still lead a comfortable life. My wife is a stay-at-home mom, so we rely on my salary. Okay, so he was making a good chunk of change before.
Yeah. But
like
I mean, it sounds like he hasn't really had to downgrade his life too much, even with that the pay cut.
Last month, I was offered a promotion that would almost double my pay, so he'll go right back to where he was.
But was he gonna have to double his hours?
However, this promotion also changes my duties and requires me to work all 7 days of the week and be able to travel for work frequently.
Okay.
I am expected to work 70 hours a week, which I do not want to do again. I turned the offer down, citing my family commitments, and my boss was very understanding. My wife is upset upset at me for turning down the promotion. She said we need the money, and if I had taken the promotion, we wouldn't need to stay in a crappy house like the one we are living in now.
Wait, their house isn't crappy though. It's a three-bed.
She's upset that there's only 3 bedrooms.
Remember, she isn't good with money.
Well, yeah, she liked the lifestyle she had before, where she didn't have to think about how much money she was spending.
How expensive is the house?
She never had
She's
to
like
see
that
her
TikTok
husband.
trend, where it's like, how expensive is that? Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There isn't anything wrong with the house we live in now. The backyard is small, but my kids don't really enjoy playing outside. And the house is in a respectable neighborhood and is actually closer to my daughter's school.
Okay.
There isn't anything broken that requires fixing in the house. The house is smaller than it used to be, but that's about it. Is my wife being unreasonable, or is there something I'm not seeing? Edit. Thanks for all the opinions. My wife knows I hated my previous job, but I don't think she understands the extent of it and how bad it really was. I do not think $200 a month for personal needs is a bad deal, but I don't spend much myself. I guess I could increase the monthly allowance. My wife does not make financial decisions because she's really bad with money, and she racked up credit card debt worth $35,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she is
That
really
is a
bad with
lot
money.
of credit card debt.
Yikes. Which took a long time to pay off. This was before we had kids, and it was a mutual decision to let me handle the money. I think we need to have a really long talk. Thanks again for all the replies. Some people are suggesting that she could go back to work, and I think part-time work would be good, especially because our kids are already in school.
Yeah, what's taking
she
up
doing?
her time?
Shopping?
Probably.
She got that $200 to spend. Yeah. There is an update, but do you have any thoughts?
It sounds like she both is not understanding, not curious about like your experience at the job, and doesn't feel like she's pulling her own weight. You know?
Absolutely. Well, the thing is, it doesn't seem like she really cares about OP at all.
Yeah, she's just like, where's
she cares
my
about their lifestyle. Yeah.
Money, please.
Like, he's telling her that he is truly breaking his neck to, afford this lifestyle of 80 hours a week to get, $13,000 a month, but he can't, that's not something that he can keep up.
Also, what's the point of making all that money if you
can't even enjoy your family?
He literally could not see his children, and he could not sleep with his wife.
Yeah,
like those
it's
are
like
the
at
two
a
most
certain
important
point,
things for a man.
Is that amount of money worth it if you are literally hate your life?
Yeah,
because he certainly doesn't seem to think so, and she's just like, I actually don't care what you think.
She's like, I would actually like to see less of you.
Yeah, well, that's what it feels like. Yeah. It feels like, oh, I actually like the way that our marriage is set up because I never see you, and you pay for my lifestyle.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. It's pretty sad.
Update.
Let's get into this update.
Thought I would update as the problem has been mostly resolved.
Oh.
And I'm quite happy with the outcome.
That, you don't see that often here.
Yeah.
But a little happy ending.
Like
Let's see. Maybe it's premature happy ending.
Thanks to the people who responded in the previous post, I did briefly skim through all the replies. The first thing I did was have an honest talk with my wife about how I felt during my previous job. She knew that I hated it, but not the extent of how stressed I was feeling during those times. I explained everything and said I will never go back to doing more than 50-hour work weeks ever again. Even if the pay was good, it wasn't worth the mental stress or general well-being. It was a very honest conversation, and I think my wife really understood. She apologized several times and cried a bit. The next part was the house. In my point of view, the house is great in every aspect and meets all our needs perfectly, but she wasn't happy with it. So there could have been something I wasn't seeing, and there was. My wife has really picked up on baking and cooking over the years, and in the new house, the kitchen is much smaller than the previous one. The kitchen space was sacrificed for a bigger living room space, and it made cooking and baking an annoying affair for my wife. She says the kitchen is so narrow that she ends up knocking stuff over, and she doesn't like working there. It's true. The kitchen is quite narrow. She apologized for overreacting about the house. I've thought a lot about this, but I don't want to spend extra money on remodeling the kitchen. I think the small kitchen space is something that can be managed. My wife has agreed. She said she was acting in frustration, but doesn't see us moving again or spending money for renovating.
Okay. And also, it sounds like maybe they do own the house if they're spending money on renovating.
Yeah.
Which
is even crazier that she didn't say
anything. She's like,
I don't know, this one's fine.
I mean, the kitchen is like the first thing that you look at.
Personally, that's a big draw for me.
No.
Like if I were looking at houses, I would want a nice kitchen.
You would say something.
Yeah.
You're like, I can't deal with a narrow kitchen.
Yeah. About the general finances, a lot of people were concerned that my wife doesn't know anything about our finances. Rest assured, my wife has access to emergency savings and she is aware of all financial decisions I make. About her allowance, I don't think $200 is very little, but after discussing with my wife, we agreed that she could go back to work. She has a degree but doesn't want to go back to work in that field. She's applied to work in a local bakery as a baker/pastry chef, and she just passed the baking test.
Oh, let's go. That's actually so cute.
Was waiting for her confirmation before posting this. That's lovely.
That's awesome.
She will be earning about $900 per month.
That's awesome.
Wait, this is great.
This is huge.
And this is something that she seems to enjoy.
And you can have baked goods.
Win-win.
Yeah. It might be hard to make them in your narrow kitchen, but nevertheless, you'll have some baked goods.
And has agreed to put $450 into savings for my younger daughter and use the rest for her own desired spending.
Boom.
Love of this.
This is beautiful. Doing something she loves, making some money doing it. This is great.
I am putting away the $200 originally for my wife into savings for our younger daughter. Overall, I am quite happy with the resolution. More savings for our daughters, and my wife has more money to spend. Also, she says she's allowed to bring home extra treats she bakes, so it's a win-win for everyone. And edit, my wife has been interested in going back to work for some time now, but has never actually done it. So I didn't force her to go back to work. This was something we talked about, and she agreed that she wants to go back to work. The work is part-time. She spends $450 on whatever she wants. All of the bills, groceries, and other shopping and financial needs are covered by me. I save $2,700 plus $200, and 90% of the balance of my income is spent on paying bills and other necessities. I do not spend much on myself, around $100, and am perfectly fine with that.
$100 a month?
I guess so.
You only spend $100 on yourself a month?
For the kitchen, by renovating, I meant that we will not be making major changes. We will manage the space by adding more cabinets, lengthening the countertops, and breaking the wall between the balcony and the kitchen for added space.
The remodeling.
So you are remodeling.
Yeah, okay.
This was not a decision made by me only. This was after a lengthy conversation with my wife. The basics are only given here, but it was a mutual decision by both of us. I do agree my language needs to change. It's not my savings, but our savings, and I'm aware of that, and will consciously make the decision to change the way I phrase it. I definitely love my wife and think of us as a team. All our savings are for the benefit of our family, and there is a second update.
I feel like the shoe's gonna drop.
I think so too.
I feel like
we're only halfway through. You know what? No, we're way more than halfway through.
We got one more update?
That was like a really quick, that all went by very quickly.
Oh, wow.
We only have like a little bit left.
Oh, a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but we have room for it all to crumble.
We've got room for dessert.
We got room for dessert.
Edit to $16. New box of tampons and pads. $30. Sunscreen, face wash, moisturizer, and anti-acne prescription. $80. Birth control. $10. Shampoo and conditioner. $50. Gifts. About 2 birthdays a month. Come up for friends and family. It also covers things like weddings. I had to go to 4 last summer. $25 per person is what tends to be expected. In months with no birthdays, I put this towards the Christmas fund. $40. Clothes. I thrift all of my clothes and find that each month I have to buy either a new shirt or new pants.
Wow. I mean, man has got his finances in order. Wow.
$120 transit. A transit pass in my city is $110 per month. And the other $10 is the cab I usually have to take between meetings if I'm rushed. If I had a car, I guess this would be the line item for gas. I consider all of these financial needs and I pay for all of these. I consider medical needs like birth control and things like clothes and transport expenses to be necessities, and I pay for all of that. There seems to be some misconceptions. I also consider haircuts and meals to be a financial need, and I pay for that, FYI. Hope that clears the misconception. By the way, you guys might have misconceptions about how many full episodes that you can listen to.
There's a lot.
And I believe there's about 60
24-hour days of full episodes.
24-hour days worth of episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio. Just search up OK Storytime.
Hundreds and hundreds of hours.
So many.
Maybe thousands of hours.
Maybe, just maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a little bit left to this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
I mean, it seems like he has his expenses down.
Yeah.
I'm just I feel like I'm feeling good about where the story's ending. It seems like he's managing it well. It seems like she heard him. I feel like this is a example of good communication.
I Agree, Sam. And I also agree that there's a little bit left.
Okay.
Edit 3. Yeah, I enjoy spending time with my family. I grew up poor, and during the time, my wife racked up $35K of debt and didn't tell me about it until they came to seal the house and take away our furniture.
Oh my God.
Luckily, most of the things were in my name, so we got by, but that was one of the scariest things I faced. We were facing homelessness.
Wow.
That crap scares you. This was before we had kids. Having kids ranked my saving habits up a notch. I can get obsessive about it. I agree. And that is the end of that story.
Well, it does feel like we got into a better space.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think, money is such an important thing to talk about in a relationship. You kind of have to be on the same page about how you spend it and how you think about it, because you don't want to have to think about money in a relationship, but you kind of have to.
I agree. Because then you'll have to think about it way more if you don't think about it.
If you get into a situation where you're in debt, like when they're seizing all of your furniture.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
I keep finding a stranger's clothes in our house. I think my wife is cheating on me.
Or just playing dress up.
Or just playing dress up. About 6 months ago, I noticed an undershirt folded up in my dresser drawer. The weird thing was that the label wasn't from any of the brands that I have, and there was only one of that kind. I tried it on, and it clearly didn't fit me. I assumed that it was an old shirt of mine that somehow got brought out of storage and tossed it. By the way, this comes from ThrowBro256 on the OK Storytime subreddit. So 2 months later, I find a pair of men's jeans, clearly not my size, folded on the top of the dresser. This was after I was at a conference for a few days. A conference was in my town, but I was gone from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. pretty much every day. I asked my wife about it and family who had visited recently. Nobody had any idea where they came from. I started to suspect something was up, but decided that it would be in the best interest of my relationship to just ask once and then trust my wife's response. I tossed the jeans and moved on. This morning, I found a men's polo shirt hanging in my closet. Not my size, and is a brand from a store that I don't shop at and haven't even stepped foot into for nearly a decade. This only days after I returned from an out-of-town work trip. I confronted my wife, demanding answers. She claims that she knows nothing. Where are these shirts coming from?
They're just appearing.
I started by asking her why she thinks I'm upset. She jumped straight to, "You think I'm cheating." I asked her to put herself in my shoes and try to explain how else I could interpret this pattern. Me being gone, men's clothes showing up in my house. She never answered the question. We went back and forth, never screaming or throwing things, for about an hour with the shirt lying on the table between us. I kept saying that, "I don't know," is not an acceptable answer. She ended with, "Or what?"
Ooh.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? I said that I needed answers one more time and got straight up from the table and left to go back to work. Historically, I do trust her, but I can see how easily lies come out of her mouth when speaking to her family over seemingly small things. She grew up in an overbearing household and she knows how to cover her tracks. During the conversation, I asked if I could go through her cell phone, something I have never done before or even tried to do. Of course, nothing of note. Something is happening. The pattern is clear to me. Am I overreacting? How should I proceed? Edit. Thanks for all the insight, folks. I've been internalizing all of this and trying to remain objective. It's easy to jump to a conclusion about cheating, and yes, the evidence does seem damning. Danging. There is some advice in the comments about next steps, and many with differing perspectives on what else could have happened. This has certainly helped me step back and assess the situation more clearly. We had a multiple hour-long conversation. She called in my in-laws about the clothing. I called my folks with the same questions. I was given her phone to go through again. I even did some digging with ISP to get connected devices and website text from cells, etc. No answers anywhere. At the end of the day, I chose to not blow up my entire life, walk out, lawyer, take the kids and run, and instead chose to proceed with caution. If she is cheating, she knows she is going to be heavily scrutinized and will eventually be caught without actual evidence. If not, I avoided destroying my family over nothing. Lots of you will disagree with me, I'm sure. But this is my life, and there are nuances at play here that haven't been and won't be shared. And there is an update. What do you think's going on?
I don't know. I mean, it's just a little suspicious that she's just like, I don't know how that got there.
Yeah, it's like,
Someone
who else is in the house?
Know. Yeah.
Got a ghost?
I was putting clothes in the
Just
dresser.
putting clothes in there?
Like, I don't know.
I think that I was kind of leaning in like, oh, this seems like cheating.
Yeah.
But I feel like everyone is so bamboozled. It seems that I'm like, maybe there is another thing going on. Like everyone's
Right.
like, I don't know.
There's someone living in the walls.
Yeah.
And also using your dresser.
using your closet.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird.
It's just kind of strange. Either she's like a pathological liar or something is going on.
Something.
Something's up. But there is an update. I just kind of want to know.
Yeah. Let's find
Oh,
out.
but actually, before I do,
yeah.
I think it is smart that OP wasn't like, let's just divorce.
Yes.
Because you don't
We've seen
have
so many
proof.
stories that
Yeah.
are like that, where they're
It's
just
just
like,
like,
okay,
ah.
bye.
Yeah.
And then
But it's like,
so many more problems. But
yeah.
yeah.
And I think, do they have kids? They have kids.
Yeah,
They have
yeah.
kids. So actually, maybe is it the kids? Did we ask the kids about this?
good question. Actually.
Yeah.
Did anyone like stay in your house recently?
Yeah.
And then
Well, they
just
said they talked to the family who had stayed.
Oh,
and
okay,
it wasn't
okay.
them. But yeah, I think it's a good idea to just like suss it out first.
Yeah. Yeah. Give us some time. Don't make
Yeah.
any rash decisions.
But there's an update. I left off on Tuesday calm, accepting that there had to be something more to the story. The last thing I wanted to do was blow up my life for no reason. Lots, about 75% of folks instantly jumped to cheating, which is understandable given the context. The other 25% either thought it was fake or needed more info, because the idea of folding/hanging clothes in the closet of the person you're cheating on is so outlandish, which is also understandable. I was committed to finding answers that proved my wife's innocence, which we eventually did.
Ooh, let's see.
Out of all the 7.5 million views and 7K plus comments, the one thing that we all missed was the possibility of clothing being donated to us, which ended up being the case.
What? From who? And then it ended up
In your
in
closet?
your closet?
That doesn't make sense.
Also, humble brag about all those views.
Yeah, it's like 7K,
After so
millions of
much.
views. My
But-
wife is thrifty and baby clothing is expensive. Are you giving babies men's clothes?
Yeah.
One of the ways we have curbed the cost is by frequenting social media marketplaces, looking for those who are cleaning house. During the process, it seems that folks would include more than just baby clothing in their donations. It took some digging, but eventually we found the previous owners for both the pants and the polo and confirmed that it did indeed come from them. Okay, but how did it wind up in your closet?
Right. Was it something that was like hung up, or because I thought
It was
like
something
a
that
folded.
was hung up or folded. Oh,
Something was folded, right? Or was
I think
it?
they said hung up.
It said like
Hold on, I'm
folded
gonna look
/
up.
hung up. But earlier in the story, I thought it was folded in the dresser.
This morning I found a men's polo shirt hanging in my closet. So it was both folded
Oh.
and hanging. That still doesn't make sense to me. Regardless of whether or not it's been donated, someone put it in your closet.
Yeah, like I feel like the only way that would happen is if the things you're getting is like pre-folded
Yeah.
and you just took the stack and put it in, or if they're pre-hung up, you just took the hangers and hung it up.
But even then, I feel like if my husband was like, where did these come from? I would be like, oh,
Yeah, like,
we just recently got a bunch of donations. It was probably that.
right.
Like
that
not, I don't know. You couldn't
Yeah.
think of anything?
would, right.
Come on. What is this? Sorry if you think it's fake. Maybe it's time you get off the internet. That's it? I'm sorry.
That's us. He's talking to us.
He said, I'm not getting off the internet. That's stupid. That was a bad, that didn't answer anything.
That did not prove her innocence,
That
Your
did not
Honor.
prove
We
her
need more.
innocence at all.
We need more proof.
It feels like you just took that so easily.
Took that so easily.
Now I'm back on maybe she's cheating because how did those wind up in the closet and
I
she did
don't
not think.
understand.
What?
I
Terrible.
don't understand. This case is not closed.
Not
you are not proven
closed.
innocent.
I, Nancy Drew, say that this case is not solved.
Yeah.
Put in the comments whether you think that case was solved because personally, that's us.
Personally, I don't believe so.
I don't believe
But I
it
will
one
stay on the
bit.
internet. So
Yeah, you can't push me off the internet. I'll do what I want.
right.
But that's the end of that story. My husband thinks I cheated with my best friend, so he got with his husband in return.
Whoa!
A little bit of context. I have been with my partner for just under 6 months. It's going well, despite some clashes in expectations and pushing of boundaries. Mostly, we figure things out. The main issue for him is my best friend. By the way, this comes from Alert Media 5684, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. I've grown up with this friend. We are both attracted to the same gender, males, and went through experience together. We have slept together in the past, but it all ended when he found his husband, though we're still incredibly close. They are polyamorous, but have an agreement that they talk about whom they will bring into the relationship before it happens. And it works well for them. They've been together 8 years, married 5. As far as I'm aware, this is the first instance of something like this happening. I truly don't know what to do. My best friend is devastated, and so am I. Me and my partner are not in a throuple or poly situation, as he is quite jealous and has freely admitted as much. I found out they'd slept together through a mutual friend. When I asked, they both admitted to it, but asked me to keep it from my best friend, telling me they would tell him in their own time. I gave them the grace of 24 hours, in which time nothing has been said. I've told my best friend because I feel he needs to know, and he is rightly devastated. When asked why this happened to begin with, my partner replied that it was in retaliation for the fact that I've clearly been sleeping with my best friend. Again, we haven't slept together since he got with his now husband, and though we used to be quite touchy with each other, hugging, etc., we've stopped that too, as I always felt wrong doing it in front of his partner. I have requested my partner go back to his own apartment, as I need time to think, and all he's done is yell at me for telling my best friend. I don't know if I did the right thing, but it felt wrong to hide it. You absolutely did the right thing. Am I the a-hole, Reddit? And there is an update. I have spoken with both my now ex and my best friend's partner this morning. He called me. Both conversations were not good. And the long and the short of it is that this has been going on for months behind me and my best friend's back. And neither are apologetic for it, especially as my now ex seems convinced I cheated on him with my best friend. They are both acting as though it was something we should have inevitably foreseen. Thank you to those of you who offered your kind words yesterday. I was a bit nervous about posting on here, but I'm glad to have gotten some outsider perspective. I am still trying to wrap my head around everything, but I think this is the right choice for me. I know it's only been less than a few hours, but the revelation that this has been a continual thing has really broken any semblance of trust I may have had in my ex. For anyone wondering, I think that the best friend is going to be planning for a divorce. We haven't talked too much since last night, but I know there's been a lot of yelling and angry words between him and his husband, and he's very upset. I'm trying to give them their space to work things out to whatever conclusion they so choose. And there is a second update, a final and strange update for anyone still interested. I think this will be the final update. I hope so, as I am done with this crap show. Please forgive my language. This evening, I was asked if I would meet with my best friend for a dinner they offered to cook. I agreed, thinking perhaps they were struggling with everything that's happened and needed the support. And honestly, it would have been really nice to just talk to them and take a breather from all of the madness. I couldn't have been more wrong. When I got there, both my best friend's partner, who last I heard was soon to be their ex, and they'd made no mention of them being there this eve, but I shrugged that off as much as I could, and my ex-partner were there too. What followed was the strangest conversation I've ever been witness to. I say that because I wasn't really given too much of a chance to respond until they finished. My best friend told me quite calmly that they had all decided that what is best for them is that he and his husband are going to try and salvage the relationship and marriage because they've worked well together so far, and this is a minor setback. His words. Then came the kicker. Apparently his husband cannot live without my ex. So they've decided to become a throuple. He's the missing piece in their lives, etc., and now they feel complete, and they hope that I'll understand and still want my company.
And the thing is, they can do this and have it be their like little, stick twisted trio or whatever, but then like the vibe to be like, let's get OP to be okay with this is absurd.
Let's absolve our guilt that we feel for this situation by just like blindsiding OP with this crazy meeting.
Yeah.
When he's expecting that he's coming to come comfort a friend.
Yeah.
I, as calmly as I could, asked my ex if he was sure this was what he wants. And he began shouting at me, accusing me of never trying to understand him, etc. My best friend's husband then said that they've all talked and that if I wanted to join them, then I was welcome to.
God.
I'm quite proud of myself. I really wanted to swear very loudly and make some choice words, but I just said that I wished them the best, but I didn't think that would be a good idea, and then I left. Apart from one very teary sounding voicemail an hour ago from my ex-best friend asking me to understand, appreciate, respect, and reconsider, I haven't heard from any of them, and nor have I responded to the voicemail. I think it's time for me to embrace being single for a while. Thank you again to everyone who's commented and offered advice. I've really appreciated all the kindness. I was a little hasty in calling my last update the final update, but there we have it. Just to keep those of you interested on board and to get your thoughts. I've been thinking through everything, and I did reach out to my best friend. I hope that you're only reaching out to be like, dude, what's going on with you? Why are you putting up with this? I'm worried about him, and I want to be certain that when this is all put to rest one way or another, especially as he left me multiple voicemails last night asking me to get in contact. Anyhow, I shot him a text today explaining that though my position in the entire thing hasn't changed, we've been friends for a long time, and I am concerned about him in this whole thing. I'm here if he needs to talk. I received a FaceTime call from him almost instantly after, and he was a wreck. Upset and shaking. He said he'd been asked to move into the spare bedroom while my ex and his husband celebrated, and that he's barely seen either of them since. He was in a worse state than I've seen him in a very long time, which is saying a lot. I've told him I'm happy to pay for him to see a therapist for 3 sessions. Can't afford more as therapists are expensive. And I have recommended him a few different people that my own had recommended to me. He broke down and told me that he'd only agreed to everything because otherwise his husband threatened divorce, and they've worked too hard on their marriage to quit now. That's not cost fallacy. Exactly. I don't know where we'll go from here or what to do, really, except that I'm very tired. Thank you again to everyone who's commented and offered support and understanding. This community is lovely.
Okay, update 4 is going to be like, update number 4, we actually are all getting married next September.
That would make me
And we've adopted
bonkers.
13 children together.
This would make me bonkers. My best friend has agreed to move into a nearby flat as temp accommodation until he sorts things out. Good. I had offered my guest room, but he's correctly said that we will both need our own space and he doesn't want to put me out. So for the meantime, this is a good solution. It at least gets him away from his husband and my ex. He's moved in as of early this morning. Regarding those two, I had a very angry call from the husband this morning demanding I keep my nose out of his situationship.
Well, he's about to hook up with the guy moving into his house.
Maybe.
That's going to happen.
And then I would respond, you should have kept your nose out of my relationship, my marriage, actually. But you didn't. So shut up. I don't care
at this point, I think my go-to move would be like just confusion. Like I would send a GIF that had like nothing to do with anything. Like I would just confuse.
Discombobulate.
And I told him I wasn't willing to talk to him until he could please stop yelling quite so loudly. And then he slammed the phone down. I haven't heard from my ex, though I am half tempted to check he's all right. I don't want him to be a victim in all of this, even if he started as an instigator, but so far haven't. I want you guys to start listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio. Search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left of the story. Real quick, I understand the desire to check in to an ex and be like, oh, I just want to make sure they're doing okay. I just want to make sure, everything's fine with them. This person betrayed you. This person cheated on you.
And like tripled down on it.
Yeah,
like,
tripled down, yelled at you.
Doubled down, tripled down.
It's you do not owe him anything, nor would it help you or him for you to get involved in this. But there's a little bit left. For those curious and asking, thankfully my ex and I weren't married. There seems to be some confusion there. And I own my own home, so there shouldn't be any legalities needed, at least on my side of things. I am talking to my therapist. We had a session yesterday, and I've been invited to text if I absolutely need to. My best friend hasn't yet acted on the offer of a therapist, but I hope he will soon. I am trying not to be pushy and give him space. I think our friendship will be all right. It just might be a little rocky for a while, and in all honesty, I need space as much as he does. Feeling a little less harried than I was at the start of the weekend, and thank you again for all the kind and supportive comments. I'm sorry I couldn't reply to you all individually, but I've read through everyone and been very grateful for them. I will update if anything further happens, but I'm hoping we are nearing the end of all of this. And that is the end of that story.
That is the end.
So hopefully everything's going to work out. Don't reach out to your ex, though.
Yeah, it's time to be done with that. Let them have that situation. It's theirs now. My wife's night out with a friend went bad, but she said it's no big deal.
It's no big deal that another guy was with me. No big deal.
Oh, let's see if it's that kind of bad. My wife, who I have been with for 8 years and married to for 5, and who is the mother of our 3-year-old, decided to go out with some of her friends from work on Friday night. No big deal to me. I was more than happy to stay home and play with our child while she went out and had fun. By the way, this comes from Throwaway88258, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. The night went late, but again, this was not unexpected as I knew they were going to different locations and she told me up front. I went ahead and went to bed around 2:30 because our child had been asleep since 9 and I knew he would wake up somewhere between 7 and 8. I also knew if she was this late, she would be too tired to get up and deal. Not to mention, I figured she would have been drinking, so I wanted to give her a chance to rest. She stumbled in around 3:30 or 4 and went right to bed. First, let me state that my wife rarely drinks. I don't drink at all, but on occasion, if she's with her family or friends, she will drink. Again, this is not unexpected, so I have no issue with this. I got up at 6:30. Child got up early. I did the morning routine thing, and sometime around 11:30 or so, I decided to check Facebook. Obviously, my wife and I are friends on Facebook. We have our own accounts. And lo and behold, there are many notifications of her being tagged in photos.
Oh my gosh,
Ooh.
Hannah, you were so crazy last night.
Is this literally the plot of Last Friday Night by Katy Perry?
Somewhere a mini bar is mentioned.
Several photos from her friends early in that night from a pizza joint they went to. Then, a couple at a bar they were at. I'm kind of amused by some of the idiotic shots, but then came the next few. One of the places they decided to go was to a country bar that had line dancing and crap like that. But Friday night was also wet t-shirt night. What is that?
Looking at all of our t-shirts, this would be a bad day to get our t-shirts wet. Show him your t-shirt. We all have white t-shirts on. Headlights on. We be looking nice, dude.
Her friends were smart enough to not post any photos of her, but guess what? The bar has its own Facebook page and they post a lot of photos. Sure enough, a few clicks away, there's my wife getting a picture of water thrown on her with tons of guys standing around oogling her and obviously cheering her on. Well, at this point, I'm livid. However, where I really lost my mind was when I continued to look at the photos and saw that two of her coworkers who went on the trip were men she works with every day. And there they are, just to the right side of her, one with his fist raised high cheering, and the other just absolutely fixated on her front airbags. We got Look, how are we moving if we're OP? Are we this upset?
Yeah, I'd be pretty upset, dude. I mean,
what would be making you the most upset? The coworkers?
Me, I watched a reel yesterday that talked a lot about perception, about this woman that went on a lunch with a coworker and didn't tell her husband, was perceived as cheating, even though it might not be. But
right,
it all has to do with perception here. One, did the husband know there was going to be a wet t-shirt night? Two, does he know there was going to be male coworkers there? And three, is she hiding any information so it doesn't, like, does it look good? I don't know. It just all kind of seems like, if I was a friend and I knew this couple and I saw it from a distance and I was like, yo, why is your wife at wet t-shirt night at Cotton Eye Joe's with two dudes?
Yeah, that would be the optics on that. If it's just girls' night, I feel like the vibes are different. But once you find out there's the male coworkers there and they're not just like strangers. Okay, so I did not wake her up because for one, I was too mad. And two, I figured that this wouldn't be the best time. So I called her mom to see if she would watch the child for the rest of the day. Grandma to the rescue, and went over there. I drove around to cool off and then went home. She was up by this time and I asked her how her night went and she said it was crazy. And I said, yeah, I kind of gathered that, and then just opened up the laptop to the photos of her. I could tell she was startled by the photos, but then just said, yeah, it was no big deal. Well, that was the worst possible thing she could have said to me. Needless to say, I spent the next 3 hours telling her, 3 hours? Brother, I agree with her. I'm sorry. This is not a big deal. You on a going out thing, it's like she has autonomy. It's like she can get, did she go home with one of those guys? She came home to you, right? Needless to say, I spent the next 3 hours, which was way too much time, telling her that under no circumstance did I consider this no big deal. In fact, I felt like it was an absolute betrayal of trust. I don't care if she did or did not sleep with anyone that night. She was wasted, exposing herself to strange men, and worst of all, men she will be working with.
It isn't a good look.
The only thing that matters out of all that is the last part, is that she works with these guys, and it creates an uncomfortable, potentially dynamic. I often have to go where she works because of my job, and honestly, the thought of having to run into either of those guys right now disgusts me. I have never cheated on her, and to the best of my knowledge, she has never cheated on me, although I'm not as confident of that today as I was Thursday. But here's the issue. To me, she has shown that she cannot be trusted to go out and get wasted with her friends and still have the same type of relationship that we had before. As I said, I don't drink. And the worst thing I do as a guy with his friends is twice a year I go to a fantasy sports league event held in a big nearby city. Believe me, it is the least spicy-related fun thing you can imagine doing unless you like that stuff. Yeah, I guarantee you there's nothing spicy going on at the fantasy football league event.
Just a bunch of dudes talking about other sweaty dudes.
Just a bunch of dudes going, 20 more yards. Come on, pick it up. I think this is actually a really interesting story about like where boundaries and setting boundaries can be a positive or a negative.
It is a wild thing to say, I don't trust my wife to ever go out and get wasted again.
Right.
I don't think that's the case. If it's that big of a deal, I think you both need to go to therapy. I'm always like, problem therapy.
Yeah, man.
It just, some pictures don't look like good optics.
Right.
A conversation, man, not an argument. Just like, hey, these are my boundaries when you go out. I hope that you go out and you respect me as your husband. And, you know, I'm not comfortable you going to wet t-shirt night.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to participate in baseball pants night at the sports league thing. So if you would think about me during those times.
Right. It needs to be like hey, that made me feel like this. I would really like it if I didn't feel like this. Would you maybe help me out with that? I know they are trying to plan a big drinking night for 2 weeks from now. I let her know that none of this was fine with me, and at the end, after she said she was sorry, she still said she thought I was making too big a deal out of it. Am I wrong for being mad that she exposed herself to other men? Not really what happened, including coworkers who she hung out with for the rest of the night. Brother, it's a wet... She's still wearing the shirt, brother!
Yeah, but everyone say no bra. Dude, I'm sorry.
Right.
If you have a white t-shirt on, no bra, and I'm getting wet, you're going to be seeing all my goods over here.
Yes, it's the wet t-shirt contest.
That's pretty bad, dude. I don't know. There is a mistrust here, and technically the dudes did see some Bentleys. I don't know. Every time she goes out, she's not going to be going to wet t-shirt night. He's probably scarred now.
It just needs to be a conversation.
Conversation, boundaries. Please don't expose yourself to your male coworkers or anyone, please. And maybe trust her again, let her go out again. But this guy is taking it maybe a little bit too far. I don't know. It was just miscommunication.
My thing is that the way he went about expressing this to his partner was like way like unnecessary. It's like it's like dropping like a nuclear bomb on the anthill. It's like, yeah, the ants are gone, but like now there's like a giant crater and you didn't need to do that. Like you could have just gone in surgically. Anyway, am I wrong for being mad that she exposed herself to other men, including coworkers who she hung out with for the rest of the night? Yes, many years ago, we had the talk about relationship boundaries. We both agreed that we are for one another only, as far as spicy sleep and our bodies go. I feel like she just broke that. Am I wrong for being pissed? Here's the update. Well, that went to heck in a hurry. I got called by my wife's friend, Julie, from work at about 11:30 this morning, telling me that my wife had been sitting at her desk all morning crying and was being sent home by her supervisor for the rest of the day. She already knew I knew, so she said that she wanted me to know what happened. When they came into work this morning, someone had set up the photo of her from the bar as the background to her computer. Only a couple of people have access to do that, so their HR department is already investigating. But everybody is pretty sure that it was Bob who was in the photo with her pumping his fist in the air.
So I was about to say, too, another fact is that the friends probably weren't really good putting her in a situation where she got a little loose. And then they're like, let's do wet t-shirt night. And the guys are like,
well, yeah, it is the two coworkers, male coworkers being there is like,
that's a little.
And it's like, from my perspective, it's not even about like the how dare you. It's more like that could get real messy at work.
Yeah,
you know, it's more like just watching out for yourself and not putting yourself in a position where now
and
you've got this as your screensaver and it's going to be the new joke in the office and now HR is going to have to get involved and it's like
optics aren't good, man. Optics aren't good.
I still trust my partner after this.
Okay,
but I am like, ugh, do we want to do that?
Yeah, I'm also pulling up and having a conversation with Bob.
According to Julie, my wife had a major meltdown when she sat at the computer and was almost hysterical before her friends got her calmed down. However, she could not quit crying. According to Julie, just about everyone in the office knows about this, and she does not know how it is going to affect her job, but right now, it will not be comfortable. Julie wanted to make sure that I went home to check on her, which I said I would. When I got back home to check on her, she was curled up in a ball on the couch and was just staring off into space. I could tell she had been crying. She was very surprised that I was there, but then I told her Julie called me and wanted me to check on her. She then started crying again. Since my job allows me a certain amount of freedom, I was able to stay home with her. Needless to say, she is now very much afraid for her job. Even if she keeps the job, she's now the laughingstock of the office. See, this is what I mean. If they were mechanics or lumberjacks, this is just like broski. They're broskies.
Oh, I see.
Do you know what I mean? That's the vibe.
I'm here now. The
broskies. You can't do broski activities in the office.
No.
Because they're not really, there's a separation there. All I could do was sit and listen and try to be as sympathetic as I could be. I'm only saying this on here because I won't say it to her, but why the F were my feelings about this not as important as her coworkers? But again, I'm only venting this to you guys. I won't say that to her. I'll answer you. It's because she really trusts you. Well, after a while, she decided to take a nap and wanted me to go back to work, which I did. I called Julie and let her know she was okay. This is when Julie says that she wanted me to know that she had nothing to do with what happened at the bar.
Oh.
She said that all evening long they were just having fun, but one of the new girls from the office invited along the guys, and initially it was all fun. But then when they got to the country bar, she told my wife that they ought to leave. By then, my wife was already pretty hammered. She went to the bathroom, and when she came back, the new girl was dragging my wife to the stage with her for the contest. She also stated my wife did not take off her shirt and immediately put on another oversized shirt when she got off the stage. However, she did want to warn me that Dan, from the photo, was hitting on my wife very hard after that. He was the one staring at my wife's front airbags. He was wanting to give her a ride home and was being kinds of all hands after that. She said it got so bad that eventually she and Sue, another coworker, pretty much stepped in and told my wife they were taking her home.
There we go. Okay.
So I think the ones who should be concerned about their employment are Dan and Bob and the new girl.
Yeah, that's not cool at all. So she was very uncomfortable with the whole situation is what we're seeing here. Didn't really want to participate and was not in a right mind.
Yeah.
So I would be giving her grace on this end after learning this right here. I wouldn't be giving her any more hard times.
She said my wife never really responded to him, but this was the most wasted they've ever seen her. And honestly, she felt like had they not taken her out of there, something might have happened even if my wife didn't consent, which is horrific, and get this guy out of the company. She said that her normal group of friends, were pretty pissed at the new girl and would not be inviting her to future parties, as each of them are married and do not want any kind of unneeded drama in their lives. If only my wife would have thought like this. However, she has also said that they were going to tell my wife that they're changing their future plans to less exotic destinations. In all honesty, I got the feeling that they were not happy with my wife at all. Well, anyway, here's where I sit now. Her job is in jeopardy because of this, which means that our family income is in jeopardy. I make decent money, but losing her full-time job will hurt. If she does lose this job, there is no job like it in the community in which we have, meaning that she will have to commute daily over 35 miles one way. Not a big deal, but that will certainly add to the time away. By the way, you can subtract from your time away from us by listening to the full episodes with stories just like this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to stories. Just search OK Storytime. And you have the whole archive at your fingertips. You have a little bit more story left here.
If they fire her, you got to countersue the company.
100%. I was going to say, it's like now is the time where you get on your wife's side. You don't have to be like, if only my wife had thought this way. Now that you know what you know, you need to be fully on her side.
Yeah, you got to support her 100% though, bro. Yeah, this is crazy.
Everybody will have their own boundaries and things that are okay and things that are not okay. And that's why, you need to communicate those in a relationship.
Yep.
And I think that it's perfectly fine if OP was not comfortable with what his wife did.
Yeah.
But the way he expressed it was like very much, I feel, overboard. And that is really the root of it for me.
Yeah, I would stop getting on to your wife and go talk to Dan and Bob.
Yeah, give him a little talking to. No.
Take him on back. No, yes.
I have no idea yet about the church finding out about it. There are several people who work in that office that go to her church, so I'm almost certain they will find out about it. All of this while I still have not been able to deal with my feelings on the issue. I've cooled off today, and I truly feel sorry for her, and I hate for her to be in pain, but I still feel betrayed. And now I feel as though my opinion on the matter didn't mean squat, but coworkers meant more. I'm just going to play the supporting husband right now, as I think it's the only thing I can do, but still feel the need to address this between us in the future because I am not okay with her doing this. And that is the end of that story. He sounds a little insecure, brother. I'm not even going to lie.
I know he's just getting all his feelings out here for the world to see, but I do hint some insecurity. Someone said, does this mean that the wife's cheating on this one too? No, the optics at first look bad, but once you get the full context,
right,
it wasn't the wife's fault.
There was just one member of the group,
a few
that
members
was instigating the bad behavior.
Yeah, little gremlins.
And someone was feeding her drinks, clearly, because they were like, that was the most gone we had ever seen her, and good friends.
Yeah.
Good friends in that story.
Good friends. And I need to talk to my mom this weekend about some of the things that she's done in the past.
My wife refuses to let me work overseas, but it could improve our lives.
Not according to her.
The CEO of the company I've worked at for the past 4 years has given me the opportunity to start up and run a subsidiary of the company in Thailand. I get all the benefits I could think of. A ridiculous expat moving package, a very minor stake in ownership of the parent company, and a USD salary in the low six figures with a month of paid vacation. My mind was blown. I make less than half of that now. I would have to be there for the complete 2 years. We're talking a smidgen under $500,000 total, and would be able to come back after that time. By the way, this comes from I Want to Go Please. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So I was ecstatic. I've broken my back for this company and I finally caught a dang break. We've been together almost 3 years. I told my wife and she wasn't having it. She said Thailand has a bad reputation, too many attractive girls, crappy hot weather, etc. I told her obviously she could come with me and she still said no. Like what? My wife works in that she has a few blogs that she writes, volunteers with nonprofits, and also does some art. Now, I don't mean to put down her dreams, but it'd be nice if those things paid, lol.
I have suspicions. I think this is unfortunately a case where the wife might be like not processing her partner's newfound success in a healthy way.
I pay for probably 97% of everything that we spend. I told her that she could do those things there. She said that it wouldn't be the same. I offered to pay for any flights that she wanted to take back to Cali or heck, anywhere, and she still doesn't want it. But I accepted the job offer.
Good.
I'm a piece of crap for not listening to her, I know. But this is beyond a life-changing opportunity for me.
Yes.
This is literally my dream, as much as it is her dream to be on the board of a nonprofit or have an art show. She was incensed and still is. She keeps saying that I'm not going, and that's it, hinting that she will leave me if I get on that flying machine. But what the heck am I supposed to do? I love this woman. She's always been my rock. She is a great person. I mean, I can still reject the job, but after accepting it, they will rightfully be angry, I imagine. Oh, and we do have an update, but what's our answer to that?
For the love of God, buddy, don't reject this job offer.
Don't! This is an incredible job offer. Especially if it's something that you actually like doing.
Dream. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
If somebody offered me a position for like 6 figures in Thailand, I would take it right now.
One thing I'd like to say, and that irked me, is a few of you harping on her saying that she's immature. My wife is smart and educated. She did her BA in a field whose career path is only really in academia and has no real private career path. I don't want to say which field because knowing Reddit, you guys will probably put her down for pursuing it. She was highly involved in her university. She is one of the most mature, reliable, honest, and organized people I know. I'm not saying every 21-year-old is not immature, obviously, but I have to ask you to take me at my word when I say that there are a few who are. So hang on. This wife is 21 years old.
You're 21.
That's young. That just like really changed things in my view of this story. How old is this husband?
I would assume similar ages.
I would assume, but maybe not.
But it's like, 21 is the perfect time to go to Thailand for 2 years with your boyfriend and try to pursue your art career.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
This is maybe the best thing that could have ever happened to her.
Literally. And I mean, I get it if she's maybe jealous of like, oh, like his career's taking off and mine isn't, like, but he's willingly paying for like everything that you're doing pretty
That's
much.
true.
So like, wouldn't this be great for you both? Because then he can willingly pay more for what you, for your art degree or whatever.
Not to mention he said he broke his back for years working for this company to get this raise and this position offer.
He earned it, man.
Yeah.
Jeez. I feel like he's got to be older.
Honestly, so few situations would I say take the job, but like take the job.
Take the job. I would mostly say take the job.
If a conversation can't get to the heart of this problem and fix it, don't let her tell you you're not going.
Yeah, you've chosen. You are still your own person at the end of the day. I feel like I have to say that because in the past, she has taken a lot of issue with people denigrating or judging her because of her age. I kind of feel bad about this actually because she'd tell me about different times when this would happen, and secretly I thought she may have been a tad bit exaggerating. But judging from my last thread, she has probably faced and dealt with a lot of flack. And some mention that she doesn't work. She does work, but she works on things that are her passion. She could get a teaching or a TA job or other job, and we've had long talks about her finding employment, but she is adamant that she continues doing what she loves and does best. I don't want people to think that she just sits at home watching Netflix or something. She is super busy, has a very strong social life, etc. Would I love it if she could contribute to our budget? Who wouldn't want a double income? But if we can make it on mine, then I'd rather see her happy and pursuing her dreams. And wouldn't she want the same for you? Wouldn't she want you to be pursuing your dreams?
This feels a little one-sided.
This feels like maybe she just likes being in California and like with you and likes having your money, perhaps. I'm gonna throw that out there.
It sounds like she likes having her whole way paid for and the ability to hang out and do and see whoever she wants and all her friends.
And you know,
she can't.
I'm sure she does love you. Maybe she doesn't want you to, you know, be in Thailand. But it sounds like if her social life is like half of her busy time, at least.
She loves her friends more than you, bro.
She's not going to want to move to Thailand. I don't know.
If you clearly love your wife, but she loves her friends more than you, or she'd be going to Thailand with you to pursue her art career. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how else to say it. That's the cold water.
But on to the update. After the thread, I really didn't want to waste time. I hate procrastination because if I chose to stay, I would need to let the company know ASAP.
God, please don't tell me you're staying.
Please. We sat down late this afternoon and had a very long, drawn-out conversation. I fully put it out there that me staying is completely in the realm of possibility.
No.
That she was half of this marriage, and as such, her say held that much weight. Which means if she didn't want me to go, I would stay. She was very happy to hear this, and I gotta thank the advice I got from the last thread for that. It really opened my eyes to what I was doing. I laid out all my reasons. I told her more about Thailand. I told her flight times to different countries and back to the US as well. I asked her if we could fit in a trip there just to see. One person mentioned showing her how much we would benefit via bar charts from my greater income. And I did that. I went a little into more detail about the minor ownership stake I would receive from the parent company, which itself could prove to be worth something big in the future. Plus, it puts my skin in the game with the company. I mentioned our current financial situation. I don't want to get into this, though not as bad as it was in the past. Could be better, especially in a place like San Francisco. I printed up a lot of financial statements. I spent this entire morning preparing. Some habits from work are helpful sometimes. I put it all out there and more. And then I listened to her side. She agreed fully that all my points were good, but ultimately she said that she just didn't want to go.
Oh, no way. She ultimately said, I'm selfish.
Yeah.
I don't want to go.
I just don't want to live in Thailand.
My friends aren't out there.
Yeah. What am I going to do? I'm going to have nothing to do anymore.
It's different. Why would I go?
She didn't want to live for any extended amount of time in a third world country. That's in quotes. She didn't want to have to learn a new language. She didn't want to get to know all these people, locals, expats, etc. She didn't want to be isolated from her friends and family. She acknowledged that she could go back and forth whenever she wanted, but felt that she would still be isolated. She said she knows I'd never cheat and didn't want to imply anything regarding that, but she still said that she would feel negatively towards herself knowing that there are that many thin and attractive women out there. Quote, to deal with that day in and day out.
Hey, guess what? There's lots of thin, attractive women in San Francisco, too.
Hate to break it to you.
Oh, my God. It's almost like there's attractive women everywhere.
What? No way.
No. Oh, my God. Oh, I guess well, that's not bad news for your relationship, I guess.
This was a strange reason, and honestly, I'm not sure what to make of it, but I didn't push her on it. You can't help how you feel sometimes, I guess. I took it all in. I never interrupted her and let her get it all out. Then we spoke and discussed more. I tried to bring up my points again, and she did hers. She said that she appreciated me and loved me, but she just can't sacrifice this way. Well, eventually, I said, after all we've said, what percentage are you at? Are you like 20% leaning on us going or 70% leaning on us going or what? She said an even 0%. That kind of hit me in the chest hard. Really hard. She said flatly that she would not move no matter what I said. She acknowledged that I made good points again, but held her ground. Yeah. So I told her, well, if that's how you feel, I won't go. She was smiling, but said that she didn't believe me. I told her, no, I'm serious. If you don't want me to go, I won't break my marriage for this. Marriage is a two-way street, like a lot of people said in the thread, and I remembered that during the conversation. So that's the update. She's meeting me later tonight for a sort of celebratory makeup dinner. I honestly feel pretty numb.
I wonder who's paying for that.
OP with the salary that is not increasing anytime soon, apparently. And the company's gonna be so mad now. So now they're really not gonna like...
He's never getting this opportunity ever again.
Never. Oh,
I hate this so much.
I really do too.
I hate this.
I really do too. Oh.
For this girl who is like, so like obviously blatantly doesn't give two craps about what you think or feel about anything. She only cares about what she thinks and feels about stuff.
Like they can just at least do long distance for 2 years.
It was every opportunity. She's like, she acknowledged that even though she would have any opportunity to fly back to her friends whenever she wanted.
Yeah. She's like, I honestly feel pretty numb. Like when I am just dreading calling to cancel my acceptance after the weekend, I have no idea what the fallout of that is going to be like. One last thing, I've gotten a lot of personal messages and I read each one and appreciate them all deeply. It's making me really second guess myself on what I'm doing.
Thank God.
I wish I had more time to think about this. I never thought this job offer would cause this many problems. I almost wish I never got it. And there is another update and I am so scared and so excited at the same time.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. I feel sick.
I'm so glad that there's an update. But I'm scared.
Yeah, let's get it.
All right, update number 2. This is an update, but also needs some advice. In the last thread, I said I was going to not take the job. Well, once that weekend ended, I prepared myself to tell them that although I accepted, I would have to renege. But I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. I physically couldn't muster the ability to do it.
Yes!
My wife asked me if I did, and I said that I didn't get a chance, but I'd do it the next day. But in the end, I just didn't want to do it.
Yes!
Yes!
Yes! Yes!
Don't do it!
Yes!
Yes! I can't say thank you enough to the personal messages I got in the comments on the thread. I love my wife, but I just can't give this up. Woo! Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Woo! Ah. And you know what will also make us scream with this much joy?
Yes!
Is if you listen to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. And we will be cheering and celebrating just the same. Oh my gosh.
Or sometimes crying, but like this time celebrating.
This time we're celebrating. But oh my gosh. There's still a little bit more to the story, but I am so relieved.
You're on the right track, brother. Just stay strong,
Stay
dude.
strong.
You know in your heart what you don't want.
Yes.
So don't do that.
Don't do it. This is literally you're having the strongest gut feeling of your life. Like your spirit, all your past lives are telling you right now not to do this. Okay?
Yes.
Yes. All right, let's get into it. She caught on that I wasn't ending the job offer, and I told her I just couldn't do it. She was furious and basically left 6-ish days ago and is staying at her friend's, who is a girl, house. She won't take my calls, and we've been texting a few times a day, when she responds anyway. She is keeping her position, and she says that she will leave if I don't end the job, but I just can't do it.
Yes.
So I suppose we are headed for a divorce, but it's so unclear. On the other hand, I am glad I didn't go through with canceling the job, so I'm kind of glad with that decision. The resentment would have destroyed me, I think. And that is the end.
Wow.